nation's colors. Please remain standing as Brett Schizler with Texas Alliance Raceway Ministries offers our invocation.
Would you pray with me, please? Most loving and gracious God, we come to you this afternoon and we thank you. We thank you for this day and this opportunity to be together, and to pray together as free people. We think about the men and women all over the world that put themselves in harm's way to protect us and our freedom, and we thank each and every one of them. We come to you this afternoon and we ask for safety. We ask that you be with each and every one of the drivers, with all of the crews, all of the safety workers, and with our world. And Lord, finally we come to you today and we just ask that we would come to you and be blessed in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome from Paradise, Texas, Kate Cowling.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Mid-30s out there today. It is a dash for cash qualifier. A lot of guys hungry to make some money. A pair of Ryans on the front row and a guy named Kevin Harvick coming from the back. We'll be back. Fox Sports welcomes you to Texas Motor Speedway for Xfinity Series racing. A 50-degree temperature change from yesterday's practice. It is cold, mid-30s here in Fort Worth. But you know what? It is time to get the party started, and it is time to meet today's guest driver analyst. So last time we saw Clint Boyer, he was partying like it was 2018. He snapped a 190-race winless streak. He celebrated with his family. He partied with the fans. But you know what? The real winner of the day was his son, Cash, who not only got the hugs from Daddy, but got the checkered flag and absolutely stole the show in Daddy's post-race interview. So Clint has gone from victory lane to our broadcast booth. He joins Adam Alexander and Michael Waltrip. Clint, before we get started, we have to set the tone for the next 300 miles. Can I get a woo? How about that? Come on.
How about that? Oh, that was way more tame than what we saw a couple of weeks ago. I'm glad you're here to party with us, and it was cold in Martinsville.
Yes.
It's now cold in Texas, but it was warm yesterday. How is this track going to react, Clint?
You know, we've seen it all. 85 degrees yesterday. You know, didn't get all of our qualifying session in, just like we didn't get Xfinity in. The weather's been all over the place. Woke up this morning freezing, almost flurry. Didn't snow like it did a couple weeks ago in Martinsville, but nonetheless, we've seen it all here in Texas already.
You know what I love? I just looked at the averages, and the 14 car is on top of the 15-lap runs. I know you're a long-run guy. You understand the importance of that. How does your car work in these cold conditions? What are these Xfinity guys faced with?
Well, the track is extremely slick. Tons of grip, though, and I know that sounds weird. With the tire combination, the speeds that we're going, it seems like you have all the grip in the world until they break loose, and then you have none. Now you're up on top of that racetrack and feels like you're on ice. But the track was, you know, when you're going that fast, you're just tense. You know, you're holding on to that wheel as tight as you can, trying to keep that car underneath of you. I'm looking forward to this race. It's going to be exciting.
You two are experts, so help me understand this. Ryan Blaney on the pole in the 22 that has won the last 2 races, and Kevin Harvick, who's in the 98, 5-time winner at Texas, starting dead last. What's the balancing act there, Clint?
I think it's just God wanting to have a little bit of fun and enjoy a good day of racing here at Texas. I think we're going to see it today with my teammate Kevin Harvick starting in the tail.
We're the benefactors of the qualifying session that didn't go off the way NASCAR had planned it. We got a lot of good cars starting in the back on basically a one-groove track. Is that second lane opened up yet?
We're going to see it right here with Kevin Harvick. I can promise you that.
The other cars that are back there, Elliott Sadler, who leads the championship coming into today's race, and Daniel Henrik, who is going for his first career victory. Let's go trackside, get the command of fire engines.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to give the command to start engines for today's race, Vice President of Wise Health System, Travis Fulton.
Drivers, start your engines!
After 2 weeks off, these Xfinity drivers are ready to go. The green flag when we return. First, we get geared up on Fox.
So let's just talk about the weather. It's cold and it's misting.
It's freezing out here. We finished qualifying. We're pretty decent. I could have gotten definitely a little bit more out of it. Tough to fight through. Mustang's pretty good.
Hopefully get some heat in our tires, heat in our motor, and we can buzz them back to the front. This first start's going to be really tough, but hey, that's what racing's about.
I feel like we have a pretty good neutral sounds forward, so hopefully we can get up front. We start 21st today, but be sure to tune in. It should be an awesome race.
drivers couldn't wait to get on track this weekend.
Texas Motor Speedway is the fastest track in NASCAR.
Nobody knows what to expect here.
And this is a tough place to learn.
Young names looking to get to victory lane.
Green flag in the air and find out we're underway at Texas. It is a cloudy, cold Saturday afternoon in Fort Worth, Texas. Welcome to NASCAR Xfinity Series Racing live on Fox. We are doing battle here for the 34th time. Here is Hinckley, Ohio's own Matt Tifft. And remember, the 21-year-old 2 years ago battling a brain tumor, had surgery, came back to the racetrack after attending classes at UNC Charlotte. He's had a lot going on in his young life and has been very impressive in the Xfinity Series. Let's go from the driver's seat with number 2, Matt Tifft.
Hey, Matt, it's Michael Waltrip, Clint Boyer, Adam Alexander up in the Fox booth. Do you copy?
10-4, I got you. You got me?
I do. I was so impressed with your car yesterday. Right up the top 5, one of the fastest cars on the longer runs as well. And you know what your bonus is for all that? You get to start in the back. How are you going to make your way to the front?
Yeah, we got a little work to do today, that's for sure. Our car's been so consistent all weekend long. It's so much colder here today, though, so we got to keep that in mind with all of our changes. And we tried to predict that the best we could from yesterday, but our Surface Sunscreen and Fanatics Camaros have been awesome, so I'm looking forward to it. I love coming to Texas to one of my best tracks.
Well, Matt, it's Boyer up in the booth. I love the optimism. Keep your head up. Long race here. A lot of good company back there with you that's in the same boat. Man, my advice is you keep that Harvick behind you all day long. You're going to have a good day. Good luck to you, and we're going to be watching.
I appreciate that, and I'd agree with you there with the Harvick.
You can keep Harvick behind you or just follow him through the field and make your way to the front, right?
Well,
Either plan
eventually
would work.
you're going to have to keep him behind you.
Okay.
Like I said, figure out how to keep him behind you.
Let's hear from our pit reporters. Before we go green, we start with Regan Trapp and say hello to Regan Smith.
Well, good afternoon, Adam. You know, we've talked a lot today about the temperature swing, almost a 40-degree difference, and that puts a lot of stress on these crew chiefs. These crew chiefs have to figure out what they want to do with the race car to make sure it handles as good today as it did yesterday for their drivers from the start to the finish of the event. But let's not forget about the drivers. The drivers are going to have to sail it off into turn 1 on a newly repaved racetrack trying to get to the bottom. There's going to be a lot of stress for them as well. The drink of choice up in the grandstands today, it's going to be hot coffee, hot tea, hot chocolate, something like that. Down here in the pits and for the drivers before the race, the drink was a little bit different color and different taste. It's going to be something more like this. Matt?
I think really if you would just go with the Imodium, then you wouldn't have that chalky taste for the next 300 miles. When you talk about the 42 team, John Hunter Nemechek, who's actually up in the tent behind me, he'll be behind the wheel at Bristol. He's upset that he didn't actually go buy an electric blanket. That's a whole nother story. But he's here to learn and listen on the team's radio. Jamie McMurray's behind the wheel today. And McMurray's last win, 2010 at Atlanta, another 1.5-mile track. And Mike Shiplett, the crew chief, told me nobody has a notebook that they can go back to for a track that has a 50-degree temperature swing in 24 hours. Your car, whatever your issue is, it's going to be magnified. So you're just going to have to play it by ear and keep up with that racetrack, guys.
And Matt, that team's been great on the 1.5 miles this season. You talked about John Hunter Nemechek, top 5 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Kyle Larson won at Las Vegas as we take a peek at our race analysis.
Yeah, we're going to go 45 laps for both the stages, and the final run is 110 laps. That grip level is 5 with the asterisk. That means don't get out of the groove.
Look at this air temperature, guys, 34 degrees. We're not kidding, folks. It is cold one.
The track temp is 50 degrees, more than 30 degrees cooler than what it was for practice yesterday. So to put things in perspective, 35 here today. It's 36 north of the border in Canada, 37 in Bristol, Tennessee.
Guys, how about 83 in Daytona Beach? Why can't we be there?
We need to go back down to the World Center of Racing.
I haven't felt my toes since about 8:30 this morning. I ain't too bad. I got a little insulation. I was trying to find the seat heater switch, but it's cold up here. Really, really cold. Got some hot hands. That helps. Make sure you got the hot chocolate on for when the race is over. I'll take a cup.
Is your approach different as a driver, as cold as it is, and maybe some unknowns with this racetrack?
It is right now. This is the time that you're you know, gabbing a little bit on the radio and enjoying the moment, having a little bit of fun. As soon as this rag drops, business picks up, you get busy. You're not thinking about being cold anymore. You're thinking about how to keep that car underneath of you and how to make it go as fast as possible.
I mean, a bad occupation today would be spotter and Fox cameraman. I mean, that's cold up on the roof of this place, and they're going to bring us some great pictures, and hopefully those spotters can stay on their game and keep these guys safe. Watch this first turn, though, Adam. These guys are going to be fighting for the bottom groove, and we can see trouble right off the bat.
Another thought as we go green, top 4 series regulars in today's race will be going for the $100,000 dash for cash next week in Bristol. That's exciting.
Absolutely, and what a wonderful opportunity it is for a driver. That's something that's got these guys hungry, and it's on their mind. I can promise you that.
Front row, Blaney, Truex. Blaney takes the inside lane. Green flag in the air. Let's go racing deep in the heart of Texas.
That turn 2 is so important to be able to have your car pointed and get to the bottom. As you get off into turn 3, you really, especially as the tire pressures are down, you don't want to be on that outside. If you can beat them to the bottom in turn 3, that's definitely where you want to be.
How much different as a driver are the two ends, Clint? We hear them letting off the gas, getting into 1, not so much into 3.
Drastically different, especially since the repave. Ever since the repave, I really have a difficult time trying to find my mark. Seems like the apex of the corner is so far around there, and it's so important to get that arc. Oh, look.
Trouble early. That's the 40 of Chad Fincham.
Doesn't look like any damage to Fincham's car.
Did a good job keeping it out of the wall.
Looped it. Well, that restart that these drivers have been waiting and anticipating and nervous about for so long, they get to line up and do it all over again.
One more time.
And you know what I saw there, Adam, was the guys on the outside were really staying down on the doors of the guy on the inside, getting those cars loose, but there's just not enough room not to crowd them, huh?
Yeah, he was way up out of the groove already. You could see he was probably chasing it early into the corner and finally got out from underneath them. But what a great job keeping it out of the wall. Saved their day for he and his team.
Couple of cars up there. You wonder if maybe is that the 55 of Stephen Light there that was up there with him? Maybe they
Stephen Light
made a little contact on entry, possibly.
Good news for a handful of drivers that we bunch them up again. Those that dropped to the rear. Kevin Harvick started dead last, the 5-time Texas winner. 40th to 31st, not too bad in a couple of laps. Early caution for Chad Fincham. He has been able to drive away, got it all cleaned up, so we'll get a restart as we complete lap number 5 here. And Ryan Blaney, the race leader, going to choose the outside after taking the inside lane as the pole sitter on the initial start of the race.
I think a lot of that just right now is you know, trying to figure out who's on the inside of you and trying to manipulate this start.
Brandon Jones inside as we're green once again.
Pretty much even Steven there for the guys on the outside. They were able to hold their own pretty good through 1 and 2.
And that's hard to do here, Michael. It really is. It's slick up there, and especially right now early. Those Cup cars were single file and just running around the bottom. Not a lot of rubber burn in yet.
How much you love this view. I mean, that's what it's like to be behind the wheel of a race car, isn't it?
Yes, that is the real McCoy right there.
Michael Annett, Josh Bilicki, that's the 5 of Annett. The 45 is Bilicki, and the 1 of Elliott Sadler, who started in the rear and some smoke on the left front of his teammate. Annett having some issues.
You can see a tire mark there on the left front. He got together with someone.
This is Chase Briscoe. We're on board.
3 wide.
That's Dillon Lupton in the 28, that blue car to his right.
3 wide getting into 3. I wouldn't think you wanted to be there.
See Daniel Henrik in the 21. He's one of those drivers didn't make a qualifying run after failing inspection. He's up to 19th as Annett makes an unscheduled pit stop 8 laps in. 00, Cole Custer, Christopher Belle on the move. Ty Dillon going in the wrong direction. He's driving the 3 this weekend.
Just an extremely fast. Oh.
And there goes Jamie McMurray for a ride. Through the infield grass, second caution of the day, and we're not even 10 laps in. He was 7th when it got away from him.
I think maybe we talked about the cautions we might see early in the going this morning during qualifying, just knowing how tough these conditions are. And I love what Boyer said. The cars are stuck really good until they're not. And you can see Jamie just gets loose, gets a little bit of contact that outside wall. And Clint, all day yesterday long in practice, we saw that car nervous looking through the corners. He just doesn't have a good grip on the track.
It's just an extremely fast racetrack and very aero dependent. When he was behind him, it seemed like he got crossed up in the wake of that car in front of him, and away it went. Took the air off him just enough, and he lost it.
That's a nice effort, though, to save that thing. I mean, I don't have a state of comparison because I've never driven one of these race cars, but it sure looks impressive.
Yeah, he did a good job. and we did it. I'm glad that the grass is short enough. It didn't hurt the splitter. He's going to live to see some more of this race.
Yeah, and with that composite body, I don't think there's a lot of damage to the right rear, so just a little bit of tape possibly, and he'll be able to march back up through there.
Yeah, look at that fixed up.
2 early cautions means this race is yet to find a rhythm. Blaney, Brandon Jones, Ryan Reid, Ryan Truex, Reddick, the top 5.
biggest difference here in Texas between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 is 1 and 2 is very flat. It reminds me of a short track mile-and-a-half corner. A lot of heavy braking.
Once you get through turn 1 and 2, you get to 3 and 4, and it's literally wide open for a majority of a run.
A lot more grip on the bottom of the track. Car drives a lot better in 3 and 4. The key is trying to get it to work correctly in both corners. You got to give up something to gain something because the corners are so different.
Prior to 2017, they reconfigured Texas Motor Speedway. It made it really tough on all the drivers here.
Drastically different getting into turn 1. That's where I noticed it the most. You know, it used to be flat off of 2, even when you raced, way back when, that was always a hot, ticket over there, is trying to get through and navigate turns 2. But getting into turn 1 is so wide, it's a difficult corner. It's very, very flat getting into 1.
2 cautions prior to lap 10. First time that's ever happened in the Xfinity Series at Texas Motor Speedway, and the most recent for veteran Jamie McMurray. Matt?
Adam, you can see the bumper bar hanging down from the right rear corner. That's fine. Cosmetic damage on the right rear quarter panel, but what the team focused on 2 different stops here on pit road was the seam on the left side of the hood, especially up in the left rear corner of that hood where it meets the windshield. The bracket there has apparently broken. They have used bare bond and tape. That blew off the first time. They brought McMurray back and put tape one more time to try to seal up that area, but he's good to go.
Guys, what I love about these composite bodies is that would have been an ending day right there on the right rear. That was something that you would have to get fixed immediately. It would have been smashed in a foot, with the bodies that we have in our Cup cars right now. He's going to be able to work on that as we progress through this race, and he'll get up through the field and be there at the end.
Restart going to happen as we complete lap 13. Ryan Blaney once again taking the outside lane.
Makes a nice break there. He's going to be able to dive to the bottom when they get to turn 1.
A lot of pushing going on that bottom line.
Man, they're 3 wide again on entry. That usually doesn't pay off, and you could see a little contact back there.
Might have been Matt Tiff that got shot out of line. Ryan and Ryan, door to door. That's the 11 of Truex on the outside of the 16 of Reid. And you saw the big wiggle there for Ryan Reid. What's the report from the 11 camp, Regan?
Well, the 11 camp of Ryan Truex came on the radio during that last caution. He said my temperature is 190. What I want to ask Larry Mack, that is something these crew chiefs had to worry about today. We haven't talked about is getting the tape on the nose right because of the difference in temperature from yesterday to today. What do you do to figure that out as a crew chief?
Yeah, I mean, we're 50 degrees cooler today, as it's well been documented, and you want to make sure that you take full advantage of that tape, because remember, what the tape does is create front downforce and help straightaway speed. But yeah, when I walked through the garage area this morning, there was not a lot of front end opening on the front of these race cars just because of it being so cool.
You can see a little side-by-side racing there. Ryan Reid was on the outside in 3 and 4. He hung in there pretty good, but look how desperate he is, Clint, trying to get to the bottom. Watch what happens to him here getting into 3.
Third caution of the day, this time for the 01 of Vinnie Miller.
The 16 has his hands full. He was glad that this caution came out. He's been wheeling that thing, pushed out to the outside and was holding on to it out there. Man, these guys are being aggressive. I like this.
Yesterday we talked, Clint, and this morning again about the toughness of this racetrack, the differing banks in both corners, the wind blowing, the cold temperatures. I thought we were overselling it about all the crashes and wrecks we could see today, but we can't get our legs under us. We just keep having crashes.
No, as I started to see this forecast moving into my day in the booth, I was looking forward to it. It's a lot better to be up here right now.
We're averaging a caution every 5 laps. The most recent victim of Texas Motor Speedway, Vinnie Miller.
And you can see how fast the speeds are here. I mean, you back it in here and it ruins your day for sure.
Updating the progress of those drivers that started in the back because they did make a qualifying run after issues in the inspection line. Daniel Henrik is 15th. Kevin Harvick has worked his way to 20th. In between, Matt Tifft in the 16th position. Elliott Sadler 21st right now.
Those are good moves and about exactly what you'd expect. Just give me some green flag laps. We're going to move into the top 10. I think all the cars you mentioned there, Adam, are guys that have a chance to win this afternoon.
And McMurray, after his problem sliding through the grass, dropped all the way to the back. Since the restart, he's up to the 26th position. Probably picked up 5 or 6 spots since that last restart.
Couple of solid runs by Ryan Sieg up inside the top 10 throughout this start of this race. Jeremy Clements 12th. Ross Chastain, 2 top 10 finishes in 2018. That's as many as he had all of 2017. He's right there inside of the top 15 as well.
It looks like right of your screen, the 42 team prepping to bring Jamie McMurray back down pit road. Use this caution as another opportunity to further repair that Chevrolet, Matt.
Due to the cooler temperatures, the tape just will not adhere to the hood, so they're heating up both the tape and the bare bond with a torch, talking about bringing him back down. That way they can put that on and hopefully it'll adhere to the car this time. It keeps blowing off.
Didn't think about that aspect of the weather taking away from performance, but certainly it has a toll on every aspect. How cold is it? Just ask the race fans. Winter coats in April at Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, the 11 barrier on our door there just got pretty loose down there. Just kind of getting lost all the momentum.
He don't seem to play nice. I didn't mean to get him loose like that. I was just trying to stay out of the gray.
Whose side are you on, Truex or Reid there?
I'm on both their sides because Truex was doing what he had to do, and unfortunately Ryan Reid about spun out, but what a great job by Reid hanging onto that car, and he's still up in the 6th position.
Yeah, Ryan Reid's obviously in the preferred line right there, and Truex is out there trying to get down to the bottom. You don't want to give up track position. The only thing you can possibly do is try to hold it on his door, unfortunately, get him loose, and you're the benefactor.
Not even halfway through our opening stage, already 3 cautions. Ryan Blaney, the pole sitter, has led every lap in the 22, jumping to the front again.
He leads 5 Ryans in our top 10, Adam. I don't think I've ever heard of that happening before.
If you just won the Battle of the Ryans today, you'd have to feel good about yourself.
Oh, three
wide. No, that's not good. But who gets through? Henrik, who continues his climb to the front. 21 car is fast today.
And I see a lot of aggression today. And hey, with these cars, some of the guys that, you know, are up there in the points, this is an opportunity for some of these cars to capitalize on that, gain some stage points.
Justin Allgaier moving forward.
Allgaier into 7th. It looked like Ryan Reid slipped up on the outside. Look how desperately he wants to the bottom. Squeezes down, gets back in line behind Allgaier.
He wants to get to a caution where he can pit and put some wedge in that thing. That's what he wants.
He can't wait till the end of stage 1 so he can make that first pit stop and an adjustment. And here's Kevin Harvick, starts at the rear up to 17th. Even more impressive because we haven't had that many green flag laps closing on Austin Cindric and that 12 car a little out of
That's just that outside line. It's so flat getting into one. That's man, that was a great view to show just how loose it is and how hard it is to keep them cars underneath of you. Did a great job right there.
Saw that car just ahead of this battle. That's Matt Tifft. He's progressing nicely from his starting position in the back as well, Adam.
You know what's impressive? Our top 5 is you right on board with Harvick. Look at that scoring pylon. You got Blaney, no surprise that he's out front. But behind him, Brandon Jones, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Truex, Ryan Preece. Attaboys for all 4 of those guys who find themselves in the top 5. A lot will change throughout the day. It is early, but a good start for some young drivers in tough conditions.
As I look at these lap times here, Blaney run a 30 right there to Brandon's 80 that last lap. That hanging a half a second on him a lap, that 22 car, that shows me they're going to be hard to handle.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday in practice, Clint. He had the fastest averages and seemed really content with what he had under him. I find most interesting, we talked about the 50-degree temperature swing, right? The car just seemed to go right through that fine. It's good in the cold weather as it was in the warm yesterday.
But even in our Cup cars, I'm anxiously anticipating the race because you really didn't have a chance to get any kind of feel of what you're going to have for tomorrow. Obviously, these Xfinity cars are putting rubber on the racetrack. That's going to be different for us. Tracks are it was misting when we were out there. Just not a very good judge of what we're going to see.
Here's a stat for you. Blaney leading every lap today. His fastest lap in the race, quicker than his pole speed earlier today.
Yeah, it just shows you it's those temperatures, and like I said, there's a ton of grip in this racetrack if you can get the balance in your race car. But as we've already seen, if you don't, you get them things up on top of the racetrack and it feels like you're on ice.
Blaney out to almost a 2-second lead here early in the going, but there's some fast cars coming toward the front. There you see Christopher Belle working his way around Ryan Reid. Reid's finally found him a basic little small gap in the traffic where he doesn't have someone in his inside, his outside.
And that's what he's trying to find, a hole where he can just ride in and buy some time to where they can get into the pits and make some adjustments. He's definitely loose.
And giving credit where it's due, Christopher Belle started 18th. He's got a fast car, but the reason he was there, we only had 1 round of qualifying. He likely would have been in contention for the pole if NASCAR hadn't called it because of some precipitation earlier. He doesn't get the great starting spot, but driving to the front looking for yet another top 3 finish on a 1.5 miles in 2018.
And anytime you see a gap between cars, a guy's holding the line up a bit, you can watch that area for trouble, and that's what's happening in second place right now. And here back with these guys, Cindric is down on the bottom struggling. He gets inside of Ross Chastain and opens the door for Elliott Sadler, who's marching from the back as well.
And that's what you have to do with these speeds as fast as they are. You have to capitalize on somebody making a mistake, slipping up a little bit, maybe one car. You know, if you're patient and just like Elliott did, watch that car get underneath of him and he just followed suit.
If Sadler is able to work his way by the 12 of Austin Cindric, that would mean all those drivers that started at the back would have worked their way inside the top 15 prior to the end of stage 1, and for the first time you get the feel of some rhythm in this race. We've gone nearly 10 laps without a caution. I think the driver's starting to get a feel for what this place is all about today.
And what they have for race cars. Now they're starting to realize, they're probably already telling their crew chiefs and you know, relaying the information. Am I tight? Am I loose? Maybe we need to make an adjustment here. This is where they're finally starting to feel what they have for a race car.
What is a driver's favorite kind of adjustment? Do you tell your crew chief that you need wedge or you need track bar, or is it tire pressure? How does all that communication work from the driver's seat to the crew chief?
Everything. It all depends on how your car goes throughout the run. Is it falling off too tight? Is it falling off too loose? Are you burning the right rear off of it? Is it not turning good enough? You know, you really have to dissect the problem to help them do their job.
Great start to 2018 for Justin Allgaier, running 7th right now. Reason for concern, though, Matt?
The adjustment that Justin would like to have is another cylinder. Right now, he says that the car is possibly down on 7 cylinders. Now, he's one of the guys that talked at the beginning of the show when we were coming around to take the green flag that the car was stumbling. His teammate Elliott Sadler said the same thing, as did Jamie Mcmurray. Remember, Monster Energy Cup cars run the electronic fuel injection, but it's still carbureted engines over here in Xfinity.
I'm going to tell you what, Matt, if he had had one more cylinder off too just then, he'd been in the wall. He about spun out exiting the corner. Gets a little high here as well, but had his hands full.
Yeah, and that's what happens. Your car is so much faster through the corners because it's not getting down the straightaway. You carry more momentum off the corner. Got up there, got tight, and then all of a sudden snapped right there at the wall.
Allgaier 9th, about to drop to 10th as Christopher Belle knocks on his door and goes by. And here's Kevin Harvick into the top 10 for the first time today after starting dead last. 12 laps remaining in our opening stage at Texas. Blaney, Brandon Jones, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Preece, and Ryan Truex, your top 5.
Dang it.
Six laps remaining in our opening stage here at Texas Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Good to have you with us on a cool Saturday afternoon live on Fox. Ryan Blaney started on the pole, has led our first 39 laps. Brandon Jones hanging strong in second. Tyler Reddick, Ryan Preece, Ryan Truex right there as well. And Michael, you made mention, I don't know, 10, 12 laps ago of how strong the 22 was. Advantage over 2 seconds. It's back down to a second and a half now. He's not necessarily pulling away, and the guy he likely has to worry about on the long haul is Kevin Harvick, who really has come on strong here.
Yeah, Blaney's catching that lap traffic at him, and it's playing havoc with him running a fast lap time, and Brandon Jones has been able to take advantage of that. with the conditions as they are, you just want to, especially with a nice lead, just want to tiptoe your way through the traffic, and that's what Blaney is doing, and it's allowing those other guys to catch up. I think the 9 car is better right now in the 3rd position than the 19 of Brandon Jones, as we see him shuffle down into turn 1. He's all over the back of Jones, and
has been for quite some time.
Just looking for a gap, an opening to put that car in.
And this is where you look for that lap traffic, like you're saying, to take advantage of that. Maybe he gets underneath somebody at the wrong time, catches them at the wrong time, maybe getting into the corner or getting off of a corner. That's a good time to capitalize on a pass.
28 cars on the lead lap. Last of those was Alex LeBay, but he just went a lap down. So did David Starr. So J.J. Yaley, now the final car on the lead lap, scored in 26 with 3 laps to go in the stage, and that's significant, as we know a caution is coming soon, and who will be able to stay on that lead lap and who might get the free pass as we get our next caution.
And as we're watching those 2 cars right there, I mean, you can just see how hard it is. You know, you've always had to keep that left headlight underneath of him. It gets a narrow advantage to help turn behind a race car. And when he's right down there on that white line like that, it makes it very difficult to do that.
You can see the 19 of Jones just slipping under the 52 XD corner. That's Texas David Starr. And watch how just passing a guy like that, he can lose his momentum. It enabled Reddick to close in. This has been an okay recovery. Back up inside the top 20 is McMurray, but I'm thinking they probably want to do a little bit of work on that right rear now, Clint. They seem to have the left front figured out.
Yeah, a lot of times NASCAR will stop you and mandate that you fix that, especially if they think it's a safety issue. If that hood brace was broke or something like that, I look for them to take advantage of this caution and be working on that right rear, like you said.
Final lap, stage 1. Here comes Ryan Blaney. He's going to lead all 45 circuits, closing on the 0 of Garrett Smithley. Smithley will stay on the lead lap as Blaney takes the green and white checkered flag.
It was a wild start. We finally got him calmed down a little bit, huh?
Well, we get to stack them all up again, do a restart, and see if they can hang on.
I love it.
Second in stage 1, Brandon Jones. Tyler Reddick was 3rd. Ryan Preece, Ryan Truex, the top 5. Then it's Ryan Reid, Cole Custer, Kevin Harvick, Matt Tifft, Christopher Belle, your top 10. The Xfinity Series off and rolling in Texas.
Well, that's fine with me. I just...
Fourth caution of the day here at Texas Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It comes out to complete stage one. Ryan Blaney led every lap. Free pass goes to J.J. Yaley. He was the first car one lap down. 26 cars on the lead lap. Pit road is open. Blaney leads down Brandon Jones, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Preece, and Ryan Truex. They're heading your way. Regan Smith.
Well, Adam, the 19 car of Brandon Jones heads for his pit stall. He's a little bit tight on both ends of the racetrack, wants a small adjustment for that. The 18 car teammate of his, Ryan Preece, he's happy with his race car. Small vibration at the end of that run. He's going to take 4 tires and fuel. And the 9 car of Tyler Reddick, a little bit loose on entry, tight in the center. He wants a very small adjustment. He's happy with his race car. Matt?
Ryan Blaney, the 22 car P1 all day. The focus they're looking at is on exit, trying to prove that race car. He needs the car to be a little bit more free. Empty box in front, he's away. He'll go around Christopher Belle, who his biggest issue is just way too free into turn 3.
Great effort by the 22 team on pit road. They hold serve. What about the 0-0 of Cole Custer +5? That'll get you some track position. Belle +6. Brandon Jones going the wrong direction. He lost 3 spots. And Kevin Harvick, who had worked his way into the top 10 after starting at the rear, had to back up on pit road. They will lose some position there.
He definitely lost some track position there.
Let's see if we can catch up with the guy that finished second in that first stage, Brandon Jones. Hey, Brandon Jones, it's Michael Waltrip and Clint Boyer up in the booth. Do you copy?
Hey, 10-4, man, I got you.
Well, there was only one guy ahead of you. What do you got to do to catch him? That 22 car looks awful strong. Have you got the adjustments it's going to take to get the job done?
Yeah, man, he's pretty fast. I think our guys are doing one heck of a job as well, though, on this number 19 Toyota Camry. I can't complain what I got so far. Just give me free up a little bit more to be with him. So we'll see how it plays out here in a couple more laps.
Hey, Brandon, it's Boyer up here. How about the track? Tell us about the track. Obviously starting to wet a lot of rubber on the racetrack. Looked to be pretty slick with the cautions, and then seemed like it's smoothing out a little bit for everybody.
Yeah, there's a ton of grip right now still, even at the end of that 40 laps. Still a lot of grip on the tires, so I think that's why we just need to be a little bit more free. That way we can get the car to not get so bound up on the longer run here.
A lot of racing left. Doing a good job. Keep it up.
Thanks, guys. 19.
Brandon Jones was great early in this race, but had a little bit of a bobble on pit road, lost a few spots. Look at that. Rear tire changer slipped.
Yeah, just stepped on the air hose. That just tells you how technical and how tough these pit stops are. Look, Harvick got blocked in.
And it seems like a little bit of the product of those, the new hoses are a lot bigger, a little bit easier to slip on.
Stage 2 when we continue from Texas on Fox. ready for stage 2. Ryan Blaney, the race leader. He takes the outside lane. Cole Custer on the front row with him. Reddick, Belle, Brandon Jones, Matt Tifft on the front 3 rows as we roll them in our second stage.
Like Truex slipped up out of the groove there, and you can see they're just bombarding him.
On board with Kevin Harvick. Just saw Justin Allgaier pull into the garage. He had fallen from the top 10 back to 17th prior to the end of stage 1, and these onboard cameras showing you exactly what it's like in traffic on a restart here.
It shows you these guys really have their hands full, especially that Jamie Mcmurray. That right rear quarter panel, I can promise you, is not helping him any right now.
Brandon Jones trapped outside of Matt Tifft. Spencer Gallagher having a good day. You know, he dropped to the rear at the start because of unapproved adjustments. He's 11th right now. And Brandon Jones, who had the pit problem, and no luck on the restart. He's going in the wrong direction as well.
He tried to tuck over there to the left and get down, but he just got loose, and you could see he slid up the hill, and it opened the door for a lot of cars to come by.
And unfortunately right now it just shows you that outside it's no man's land. You got to be careful. You got to tiptoe around there, especially on these restarts on the outside. I'm hoping they'll put some more rubber down for us for tomorrow.
I don't know if he's got a tire issue or what, but Matt Tifft way off the pace here, and that appears to be more than just a loss of momentum because of where he was on track.
Yeah, it's confusing to understand unless he has something wrong under the hood, but maybe he just got really loose and it's got his attention.
You can see him chase it way up the hill. He's definitely got, I would say he got high enough that he got trash on his tires too right there, but he may be having a problem.
You can see Josh Bilicki working his way under, and that was one of the cars we saw in practice yesterday we thought could win the race. Just telling you how different the conditions are today.
Jamie Mcmurray, a yo-yo day, currently 17th in the 42.
I don't know. I have no power on the restart. I'm having to short shift a little because I keep getting into the rev limiter. But when I shift from second to third, third to fourth, everybody just out accelerates me. I feel like I'm taking off good. It just doesn't have any power.
Well, he doesn't have any aerodynamic issues, I don't think, Clint. That would hurt his power. So he's making a nice move now up toward the top 15, but that car's just not handled well. And now he's saying it doesn't run right either.
Yeah, and you know, just the horsepower is such a big thing on this racetrack, and you can really feel it on a restart like that. If you're at a deficit, you're gonna pay the penalty in a big way.
We've had a lot of development since we got that green and white checkered flag to end stage 1. Cole Custer, the great pit stop, has gone from 2nd to 5th since the restart. We told you Justin Allgaier went to the garage. Kevin Harvick had the problems on pit road when he was blocked in. He's gone from 15th to a top 10 position on the restart. Elliott Sadler quietly making gains from the tail end of the field. Our points leader up to 6th. And how about Austin Cindric? There was a good portion of stage 1 where he was going in the wrong direction. He's now 7th, and Daniel Henrik in the top 10 is 8th, as good as he's been all day long. A great deal of movement, both in the right and the wrong
direction. Don't forget Allgaier.
Yeah, in the garage. Amazing.
There's a lot going on, but what I'm really watching is the fact that finally someone can keep pace with our leader, Ryan Blaney. Christopher Bell is right there matching his lap times, and very impressed with what Bell's been able to overcome. He didn't start very well, but look, there he is racing right behind Blaney, keeping his eye on him. He could have gotten adjustment on that last stop that he liked. One more of them, he might be able to contend.
It just amazes me, guys. I'm watching the lap times here. I mean, he qualified at a 28:43, and he just ran a 28:47. These are qualifying laps, lap after lap in race conditions.
Cole Custer is going to get to the bottom of Tyler Reddick, and look at everybody wanting to jump on Reddick while he's up there in that outside lane.
Bunch of sharks.
Yeah, that's what
Where's
it looks
the blood coming from?
But you have to take advantage of that. I mean, unfortunately it is very, very, one line right now, and anybody slips up or gets up in that outside, you got to pounce on it.
Reddick starting to slide just a little bit as he got trapped in that outside lane, 5th right now, Regan.
Yeah, Adam, they haven't had to make a lot of adjustments to that car today. They did add tape to the grill, as we talked about some cars wanting to get a little bit more engine heat earlier today, get that added downforce. Something interesting about that car, though, we saw him hit the wall in practice yesterday. They changed the right front fender. He had a crack in that fender, so they changed the entire fender. To my knowledge, that's the first time that's been done during the race weekend with one of these new bodies on these race cars.
I love those bodies because of that fact. You bend it, you can put a new one on it, and you're as good as new. And you can also bounce off the wall and not do a lot of damage, as evident by what we saw with the 42 of Jamie McMurray.
Oh, there's whoa, that was so close. They hit.
I was going to ask.
It was a little better than close. They definitely hit. You could see the Goodyear letterings off of his tire. Man, that was close.
And that tire could blow out. I mean, he got enough damage to it. Could see an issue.
He didn't hit the wall, but there was, in fact, contact with the 16 when you watch Tyler Reddick go for that slide.
Talked about him losing ground.
But you know what that reminds me of, Michael? Remember a few years ago we were here for the truck race and Reddick was driving for Brad Keselowski, and he was all over the place. Just like that move, somehow he gathered it in, but he is about to fall to 11th in the running order. Brandon Jones knocking on his door.
And you can see that he's having trouble keeping the throttle down in the corner because he's loose, and it enables those guys to get even closer to him and make him even looser.
What's up with the rookie out of California? It's wicked.
We've got
all good there, man? Oh, no, just really loose right now. We'll see where it goes.
He's got a tire down or something here.
He's going to go to the garage if he doesn't come to the pit road. I mean, he can't be that far off without something wrong. That left rear tire could blow out any minute.
Well, he's obviously had contact with it pretty good. I don't know. Maybe it's...
He's back to 17th now as Truex goes by. Michael Annett adding to his problems. Right of your screen, Harvick in the top 5. And Blaney leading by 1.5 seconds over Christopher Belle. Elliott Sadler came in leading the points. He's the only car here for Dale Jr. that hasn't had an issue today. He's 8th.
might go down as record as coldest race ever.
Thank goodness I got myself some pocket warmers. And the engine stumbled really bad.
Yeah, it might just be the cold weather.
The 11 buried on our door there.
I didn't mean to get him loose like that. I was just trying to stay out of the gray.
Just over halfway through our second stage here at Texas Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Fifth caution of the afternoon for driver 23, Spencer Gallagher.
Whoa. Just got pulled around there.
And, you know, I think that is a perfect example of, you said earlier, you're gripped, you have grip until you don't. That car was stuck, he was hauling, then around it went so quickly.
Yeah, as soon as he got down on his door, around it went. There's nothing he can do there. But that's a product of the racetrack. I mean, both guys did what they had to do. He was trying to be aggressive on the bottom and hold his ground. The guy on the outside was trying to take advantage of the situation.
Started in the back, had worked his way to 11th. Everybody staying out here. Does that surprise you at all, Larry, or was the overall thought process that you stay out to the end of stage 2?
No, I don't find it surprising at all, Adam, because we'd only run 18 laps, and what I've been watching is the scoring monitor, the stopwatch, and the lap times had not fallen off that much. So, you know, see some of the guys at the back pitting, but not surprised the leader stayed out.
And they're the ones that had problems. Spencer Gallagher, who brought out the caution, Tyler Reddick, and Matt Tifft, who we know were fighting an ill-handling race car. Back after a break on Fox. For our race at Bristol Motor Speedway next weekend.
The best show in all of sports, the way y'all cover our sport.
Fifth caution of the day for Spencer Gallagher. He's not happy.
He is curling around. That's going to hurt when I get to him.
All I can say, he's got it coming, bud. He deserves it.
Oh, man, they was just racing.
It happens, right?
Yeah, watch Gallagher. Gets down on the bottom. Almost has Reid cleared. Gets a little bit loose. And around he goes.
I don't know, guys. Let's pour a little fuel on the fire. I think he definitely did it on purpose. Let's see a little bit of entertainment. Don't hurt him, though. God, he said it hurt.
Gallagher pitted. He's back in 24th, was 11th when he had the issue. Tiff pitted as 23rd. Tyler Reddick came down pit road. He'll restart 25th. Your race leader is Ryan Blaney, but with Christopher Belle running second, this time Blaney choosing the inside lane, the restart with 15 laps to go in stage 2.
Yeah, and remember this caution for Reddick and for Tift and Gallagher. They could get back in the show with the adjustments that they're going to get here.
Boys, you need to focus on this 98 car. He's finally caught these guys. He's got the track position.
First time today he's had track position on a restart, because the last time around he had to pit issue, had to come from 14th. And look out, Blaney lost the lead. A little bump and run there on the inside, it looked like. Wow.
It's almost like he just didn't get his tires cleaned up enough. Got down in there and it come around on him.
Whoa, look at that 19 of Jones splitting the gap. You can see Henrik, he's off the pace on the low side. What will Dillon do? Can he get to the bottom?
They are teammates. Brandon Jones trying to recover. Meanwhile, Christopher Belle, the first driver out front, other than Ryan Blaney today. Let's go back to the restart.
We talked earlier about hanging on the guy on the inside's door.
Yep.
You know, that's how you're going to take those spots away, and that's what Belle was able to do. He got a great start, ran in there side by side, pinned him, and away he went.
Textbook right there. And unfortunately, that's just a product of it. That's the nature of the beast right there. You know, unfortunately, that's what you have to do to gain that position. And no, it's not probably the most proper thing to do as far as etiquette and things like that, but hey, it worked, right?
And it's not the most popular thing to do either.
But you can guarantee you, if the roles reversed, when the money's on the line at the end of this race, that favor will be returned.
I said bump and run. I thought maybe Brandon Jones got him. That's not the case. He just had that big of a wiggle after he pulled down on
Same
the door.
impact.
Yeah.
But what about Ryan Preece? I love this cat, man. He just showed up, ran a few races last year, got a win, and now here on the big super speedway in Texas, he's putting the heat on Christopher Belle.
I said Jones, referring to his teammate. Actually, Ryan Preece is who I meant there, who's in that 18. And keep this in mind. Our top 4 series regulars today qualify for the Dash for Cash next weekend at Bristol. Right now, it's Belle, Preece, Henrik, and also Brandon Jones, so you see here racing with Jamie Mcmurray for position, and Preece not letting Belle get away at the front.
Preece is a little bit better right now, and he just has to bide his time and be patient and see if he can figure out a way, like Clint said earlier, get that left front fender below Belle like that right there.
Right there, yeah, absolutely. That's what it takes. You got to watch that car, hound him enough to keep the pressure on him and force him into a mistake a little bit. It looks like Jones might be a little bit.
Caution number 6, second time we've seen it for the 40 of Chad Fincham. Last time,
I can't drive it back.
he was able to keep it off the wall. Not so fortunate this time. Destroyed at number 40.
He ripped his whole back window out.
That's just too bad. You hate to see that. You know, that team's brought everything they had to this race. Just had his hands full.
Yeah, he said he was okay. He's getting out now.
With 10 to go on the stage, by the time they get this cleaned up, I like our little shootout to end stage 2, and perhaps the door is open for strategy. Do you pit here, get your tires and fuel before the end of the stage? What's your thought process, Larry McReynolds?
I think if you're one of the drivers up near the front, you absolutely stay out, because to your point, Adam, we're probably only going to have a handful of laps before we go back racing to end stage 2. But now I look back out there at Elliott Sadler. I look at Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe, drivers that are well outside the top 10. No question what I would do right here. I would pit, get 4 tires, fill it with fuel, and then stay out at the end of stage 2. I think we'll see a mixed bag.
I like that. I think that's what stage weight racing was designed for, right, Clint?
Absolutely.
Let's mix things up. Let's see these crew chiefs and their engineers put their brains in gear and figure out the best way to gain track position and ultimately win the race.
Free pass here under this 6 caution goes to the 8 of Bailey Currie. He is 27th. And now 9 laps to go. Great that Fincham is out of the race car. Appears to be okay. Belle, Preece, Blaney, Harvick, Henrik, the top 5. Then it's Dillon, Jamie McMurray, Brandon Jones, Cole Custer, and Ryan Reid, the top 10. And there is some movement on the pit lane. We anticipate there will be a few who make a pit stop here. What about the leader?
All these other guys will pit, though, right?
Yeah, I think so, but knowing we're in position to get a bonus point, I think we gotta fight for that right now, you know what I mean?
Well, there's a few, Adam, that we know won't pit for sure, and that's, you know, take a bad break and turn it into a good one, and that's Tift and Reddick. I mean, they might not even pit at the stage break with that last caution, that flag pit stop that they made. So it'll be interesting to, Larry said a mixed bag. I usually think of 2 differing strategies. We could see as many as 3 or 4.
Spencer Gallagher would be in that same situation. Works out pretty good for them as they get this caution here.
Now, if he stays out and it works out for Gallagher, will he then thank Ryan Reid, you think?
I'm guessing he's not going to thank him anytime soon for anything.
It'll take a week. It's going to take at least a week.
Gotta heal a few wounds, huh?
We've seen him in a wrestling match before that, Spencer Gallagher.
Yeah, epic. What a fight he had with up in St. Louis one afternoon.
Coming up on the 2-year anniversary.
You know, I've never seen one of those. The back glass in that thing, how it's broke like that. I've never seen that.
That's the first time I'd seen it. That's why I said he broke his glass out. I didn't know that was possible. There's Spencer Gallagher. Took on John West Townley. Got out some frustration.
What a kid, though. Does such a good job. His attitude.
We reported earlier that Justin Allgaier went to the garage, 24 laps down, but has returned to the race, Regan.
Yeah, he did go to the garage, Adam. They worked on that car. It was a broken valve spring. They wanted to try and fix that enough to where the car would run the rest of this race. So disappointment for Justin Allgaier. He's been very strong these past few weeks. Not going to be today.
Top 10 in the first 2 mile-and-a-half races of the season. I think he was 6th at Atlanta Motor Speedway and had a 3rd place effort at Las Vegas. So they've done some really good things early in 2018, but unfortunately going to leave Texas Motor Speedway a little bit disappointed.
They just patched her together, though. She still sounds quite ill.
Yeah, it's definitely sick, but hey, hats off to the engine department for catching that, bringing it in, fixing it, and getting him to where he can finish. Who knows what's going to happen? We've seen a lot of stuff happen already. A lot of people having trouble, crashing, wrecking. Everything's going on, so that might be just what they needed.
We anticipate pit stops in a moment, but before we get there, let's head to the Hollywood Hotel, check in with Shannon and Larry.
Hey there, Adam. Let's take a look back at how this race has unfolded. 50 degrees colder than it was yesterday. We all wondered how that was going to affect the race, and I think we saw that especially in stage 1.
Yeah, it definitely took a while for these guys to kind of settle down. The first thing we had to do is have a little ice cream and wrap up. See, the ice cream, even in 30-degree weather.
Matter. Ice cream is ice cream. Hey, so as we said, it started early. Lap 2, we saw guys start to go around. Even veterans like Jamie McMurray just couldn't keep that car underneath them.
Yeah, we had 3 cautions in the first 15 laps. There you see Vinnie Miller. And then we lack of grip in the pits. You see the rear tire changer for Brandon Jones. Brandon came in running 2nd, lost a lot of spots on his pit stop.
I walked outside and saw those pit guys doing jumping jacks, doing walking lunges, everything to stay warm. Ryan Blaney would go on to win stage 1, and then we saw some trouble later on with Tyler Reddick got loose, and the 16 of Ryan Reid. Spencer Gallagher goes for a little spin as well. And it's really been the case, this story. So is this all because of the weather?
Well, I think it does, because the handling issues are so different than they were yesterday. 6 cautions in the first 79 laps.
This was our progressive race summary. You could see right there, Christopher Belle is out front as we get ready to end stage 2. Let's go down to see who takes pit road. It is open, guys.
Yeah, pit road going to open this time around, Shannon. Belle, Priest, Blaney, Harvick, Henrik, the top 5. There are a number of drivers that came down under that last caution that we know will not pit here. And a little surprise with just 6 laps to go in the stage. They're all heading down for service, Regan.
Well, they are heading for service. The 21 car hits his pit of Daniel Henrik. He's a little bit loose entry to the middle of the corner. A nice run through the pack for him. The 98 car of Kevin Harvick, he needs to be tighter from the center off. 4 tires and a wedge adjustment for him. And the 18 car of Ryan Priest needs to be a little bit tighter on entry, but he loves his middle and exit. Matt?
On the far right of your screen, you can see in that very first stall, Christopher Belle, they called an audible, came to pit road after all, the car on the tight side. Meanwhile, the 22 of Ryan Blaney, his car, like it was the previous run, too free, an air pressure adjustment to try to tighten up the 22.
And the race off pit road goes to Christopher Belle. Matt Tiff, no tires, goes +10. And once again, Kevin Harvick having issues. -5 for the 98. Like it happened there on the right front. Well, yeah, he dropped the gun as he came around.
Yeah, a couple of different issues there.
Brandon Jones stayed out. He'll be the race leader when we return. NASCAR on Fox, back at Texas. Let's go on this date. Mount Vesuvius erupted in Italy back in 1906. I know you guys knew that. Also remember this hit from 1953 sitting on the dock of the bay. Fireball Roberts in 57, one of 8 victories that year. And Carl Edwards finding his way to victory lane 11 seasons ago, went on to win the Xfinity Series title. And I love when you're in the booth with us, Clint, because all your fans reach out on Twitter.
Great. So obviously Blake is giving me thumbs up right there. But
is that what you
the
think?
only thing you can say with him is thank God God blessed him with a voice, because anybody with a tattoo that terrible couldn't get anywhere else in life.
Are those ant tracks around there?
It looks like ladybugs, but if he was any kind of fan, he wouldn't be sitting at home. He'd come watch us tomorrow, because he's just about an hour away, boys.
Should we take exception to that, Michael and I, or is that just targeted at you, his gesture?
I know him pretty good. And I'm pretty sure Blake
all about
straight at Clint.
So we just had a pretty big moment here on pit road. We had a number of drivers that came down and got service. Ryan Blaney will be the first on tires when we go green, but he's restarting 14th because the top 12, 13 cars ended up staying out there.
And you think the action's been crazy on these restarts early in this race. Watch this now. I mean, the fastest cars are buried back in the pack. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Belle was the second car off, Christopher Belle, but an uncontrolled tire means he drops to the rear. This didn't work out for him at all.
Watch this crew as they go to work, and a tire just starts to roll away.
Right, just barely.
But that box are out of bounds lines.
Rules
if it's a football game, you go out of bounds, you don't get that play, and that's what happened there.
I've been entertained, man. I'm telling you, this race from the word go has been chaotic. It's been everything that you could ask for out of a race, and this mile-and-a-half track is producing some wild race. And the speeds, it's all coming from the speeds. I'm telling you, getting around this place at the speeds that we're going is very, very difficult.
We had to add a lap, so by my math, we're going to get a one-lap shootout to end stage 2. And listen to the drivers inside the top 10. Although they're on older tires, Brandon Jones, Ryan Reid, Ryan Truex, Ryan Sieg, Ross Chastain is up there, Michael Annett, Jeremy Clements. We could get a surprise winner at the end of stage 2 here, Regan.
Well, we could, and one of those possible surprise winners would be Brandon Jones. He's been very good all day long. Chris Gabehart told me before this race started earlier today, he thought they had a very good race car and that was going to allow him to play offense instead of defense. Well, I would definitely say this was an offensive move right here. Had him staying out to try and go out and get this playoff point. Now his driver's got to do the job and keep the car up front for this last little shootout.
Trying to get the coach, Joe Gibbs, his 12th win in the Xfinity Series at Texas Motor Speedway. Today it's the Xfinity cars. Tomorrow 500 miles for NASCAR's Top Shelf.
This season, Kevin Harvick's been loading up on wins. But in Texas, a shootout isn't over until it's over. These Cowboys are ready to ride, and JJ's looking to claim his victory once again. Tomorrow on FS1.
Race day gets us going, 12:30 Eastern Time. Reminder, we are on FS1 tomorrow. Good to have you with us on Fox today. How do you handicap the afternoon for Kevin Harvick? 5 wins at Texas, starts in the back after he didn't qualify, drives his way into the top 5, as track position, couple of pit road issues, 20th right now on fresh tires.
A lot more eventful than he was anticipating or wanting. I can promise you that. When he woke up this morning, he thought this day was going to go a lot smoother, but hey, he's a champion. He's always fun to watch and brings a lot to the table in this series every time he's in it.
And the good news for Harvick, the fastest car so far, Blaney's only a couple of spots ahead of him. So he's made progress. They're just buried back in the field bit. I'm looking forward to this restart much because these Xfinity regulars up front, they want to win this darn stage. It's going to be a tight battle. Remember, Ryan Reid's been sideways and loose. He's up on the front row. I'd watch closely as they get down into turn 1. If he puts it down on the door of Brandon Jones, could get serious.
One lap shootout, you're going to see a lot of that right here.
A kid named Jones won twice last year for Joe Gibbs Racing. That was Eric Jones. Brandon Jones trying to win a stage today. 1 lap to see who gets stage number 2, and the 19 is able to get the lead.
Saw Ryan Reid really slip up on the outside right there. Boy, they're really stacking up in the back.
Truex jumped to second. Brandon Jones, in his 3rd season out of Atlanta, Georgia, has never won a stage in the Xfinity Series, but that's going to change today. There's the green and white checkered flag. The 19 pulls it off. Truex to second. Ryan Sieg is 3rd. And then it's Ross Chastain, Ryan Reid, the top 5. The rest of the top 10, J.J. Yaley, Spencer Gallagher, Garrett Smithley, Michael Annett, and Jeremy Clements. All those drivers likely will pit here, and the lineup will be shuffled. The final stage when we return on a cold day in Texas. stage winner and trying to join this list. Drivers who got their first Xfinity Series victory here at Texas Motor Speedway. Dale Jr. pulled it off. So did Kurt Busch. How about Trevor Bayne in 2011? Chase Elliott not only won here, went on to get the title as a rookie, and Erik Jones winning in 2015. Pit road is open. Drivers coming down for service. Here's Regan Smith.
Oh, the 11 car of Ryan Truex having a solid day right now. Started second, currently running second. His car's it's tight on exit, both ends of the racetrack on throttle. The 4 car of Ross Chastain running way up front today. He's way too tight on exit, but it has been coming to him slowly but surely. And the 19 car, he needs front grip at the start of the runs. Otherwise, all good for his race car. Matt?
Ryan Sieg, P3 when they hit pit road. The car really fires off well at the beginning of the run, but it just progressively goes to the tighter side. You can see they made a chassis adjustment, and they're over on the right side of the car to try to help that balance throughout the run.
Race off pit road, going to be won by Brandon Jones. 4 tires for him. Good effort for Ross Chastain, Gallagher, Truex, and Annette. These drivers going to lose some track position because a lot of drivers stayed out here, but nonetheless, Brandon Jones with a lot to celebrate. Ryan Truex in that same category.
Yeah, let's think see what Truex is thinking. Hey, Ryan Truex, it's the Fox booth. Do you copy, bud?
Yes, sir.
Well, I got some great news. You got second in that stage. You're right there on the tail of the guy that won it. The bad news is you're going to lose some track position, but you got a fast car. Can you fight your way back up through there?
I hope so. That's the plan. My team gave me a great HEB, Bar Harbor, Camaro this weekend. And we're good in practice, good in qualifying, and got a lot of stage points. So still a long way to go. I mean, we got half a race left, but proud of these guys for giving me a good car. Restarts are treacherous, so if we can just, survive to the end and hopefully have the right lane at the end, we'll be in good shape.
Well, we appreciate you carrying along our visor cam there. That's a great view for us. Have a good rest of your day, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
The restart for Truex is going to be outside the top 15. Kevin Harvick going to go 10th once the green flag's in the air.
Like that's tight. Hopefully they are. It's vibrating like crazy. Lug nuts are 100% tight.
Everybody feels good about their lugs, so I would just have to assume it's the tires.
Nothing's been easy for Harvick today, huh? He's going to have to put in quite an effort if he's going to get that 6th Texas victory this afternoon.
That's
Well, Dash for Cash is always a big deal for us in the Xfinity Series.
My wife and I are currently in the process of buying our first house, so that would definitely go a long way in that process.
If I won $100,000, I'd pay all my bills. I'm just kidding.
What would I do with $100,000 I've won? My wife's already spent it.
I've heard that story before. Dash for Cash, next 4 races, Bristol, Richmond, Talladega, Dover. Today a qualifier, so the top 4 series regulars in today's race eligible for the cash next weekend. You get $100 grand if you're the top finisher of those eligible in one of the next 4 races. And Xfinity going to give $10,000 each weekend to the local community in the name of the driver who wins. That's a neat feature this year. And right now, Henrik, Reid, Tift, and Custer in line to go for the money at Bristol.
And I think Harvick's roller coaster ride of the day is sort of the theme. There isn't any one of those top 4 drivers that haven't had issues and been a bit sideways in the pits under unscheduled stops or differing strategies. So it's been a day where we've seen a lot of surprises.
And I don't even think, I think it goes a lot farther than the top 4. That's everybody. I mean, the untimely cautions, things that's happened in this race. It's just been a wild, wild day for everybody involved.
I want to watch Blaney. Led the first 75 laps, got cycled out on track position, restarting 8th here. Henrik, the leader on the inside lane. Great jump as we head toward halfway.
Looks like they were a little more courteous to one another that start, for sure.
And how different, Clint, will that 22 car be? He spent the whole race up front. Now he's buried back in traffic. Is it a drastic difference the way it'll handle?
Oh, absolutely. Whoa, that's
one in the wall. That's Brandon Jones. One stage 2, lost the track position after pitting.
Talk about chaos. That's just par for the course. Win your stage, and the next thing you know, you're wrecked. Unfortunate.
Saw Ryan Sieg sliding through the grass there as well in the 39 car. He's going to be able to get back on the road, but that looks like the day is done for Brandon Jones.
A lot of damage there.
It was so funny. I was watching Tift and Reddick. They were right there, almost a hit, and then in the background you saw him go around.
Kaz Grala with some big damage. It looks like Jones just gets loose.
Just chasing it, really, really loose. It's amazing, that wall. Did you see that thing move? Every time I see a wreck anymore as a race car driver, sure appreciate whoever built and designed that thing.
It makes me want to hug them. I mean, I know how hard that concrete is and that technology. Look at the job Sieg does. He just,
yeah, he did.
He said, I got to lock her down and go the other way, and what a great move. It's like trouble for Kaz Grala. Is that Alex Labbe as well?
Alex Labbe went through the grass, yeah, ripped up his left front. When it happens on a restart, no one is really out of danger because everything is so tight, and we saw it there, and there's Labbe. Certainly a lot of damage, and the rookie out of Canada going to probably have to head to the garage.
Yeah, that's all splitter tearing into the grass there, it looked like. Not real sure how Grala got involved, but this is just putting on the tires and pushing it back to the garage.
You know, Brandon Jones hadn't finished worse than 17th, and that was when he had some issues at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Most of the time, he's been inside the top 15, top 10 in 2018 through 5 races, but there's a lot of damage on that car. Same for Kaz Grala, Regan.
Yeah, very heavy damage for Brandon Jones. A disappointment. These guys just won that last stage, got loose coming off the corner right there. They wanted to change the tires and then evaluate the damage, but we saw the crew guys immediately giving the sign like their day is likely over right here.
Yeah, it looked like a ball joint was broke on the right front.
Limited on what you can do based on what the NASCAR rule book says here, Larry.
You saw them just rip that rear bumper off. Per the rule at a 1.5 mile racetrack, you cannot race without that rear bumper cover. And you can't put a replacement on there. They're going to have to put that original piece back on there. So you're going to see them back on pit road.
Well, they got bigger issues than that, Larry. That right front suspension is whacked out. So they're done. Now, Kaz, he might be able to get going again. I don't know. It's a lot of damage to the nose there. Does that look like another case of running off the road and catching the grass and tearing the front end up?
Absolutely, yeah. It definitely hooked underneath there. And you can see he just wanted to peel the whole front fascia off of it, really separate from the fenders there. I bet that's a day-ending deal, too.
Remember how we ended our last race. Kaz Grala in the top 15. Spins coming across the start-finish line, destroyed that race car. More damage here today. Daniel Henrik leading halfway in Texas on Fox. Series about to go green again at Texas, and with Clint Boyer here today, I was curious, where in the world is Emporia, Kansas? 105 miles from Kansas Speedway, Clint.
If you look up God's country right there, that's Emporia. Man, I tell you, it's a lot of fun to go back there. Still go back there. Business owner back in Emporia. We do all of our charity work back there. We set up a 79 fund under the Emporia Community Foundation. Just have a ton of fun there. Michael's been there and helped me before, him and his brother. Always means a lot to be able to go back to your hometown and give back.
What's going on with the foundation right now?
Well, every year around the Kansas Speedway weekend, we do a dinner and an auction, and always lean on, you know, some sort of country music artist or something. We've had them all there. Always a lot of fun to be able to gather all your friends, you know, and then somehow at the end of the night, you've raised a lot of money to the good causes, schools, hospitals, set up scholarships for the Tech College. We've done a lot of things over the years and made a big impact.
You want to go to a big event in a small town. I mean, this event is just that, and it's always fun, and there's so many people there giving, and I enjoy going to back to that little town and watching Clint do his work.
I think you should invite Blake Shelton. He seems to be a big fan of yours.
Well, he actually did the grand opening of our community building. He did show up and surprised all of us and did a awesome show and knocked it out of the park. So believe it or not, we are friends.
What is it like to grow up as a racer in and around your community? Move across the country to North Carolina, hit it big, race at the top level, and then return home and give back to so many.
I think that's just the American dream, right? That's for whatever reason, when you get out there and you know, you chase that dream and it finally becomes reality, the first thing you do is want to go back home for some reason. But to be able to be a business owner, you know, and go back and own the dealership where my brother and I worked as kids means a lot. And then also to be able to go back and have that community building catty corner across the street from it is even more important.
Just about time to put the green flag in the air once again. Early on, the domination belonged to Ryan Blaney. Right now, he's 7th.
Ryan, do you remember that conversation before the race? saying how it was going to be so much grip. We thought the race was going to go all green here.
You know what, I was just thinking that about 2 cautions ago. Boy, were we wrong.
Yeah, we kind of missed it on that one.
8 cautions today. The record is 10 here at Texas, and we've got 97, going to be 96 laps to go.
I think we guessed correctly, thinking that there were going to be a lot of cautions, and Clint, I think, tipped us off at the top by saying how much grip you do have, and we heard the team talking about that. But then when you get somebody right on your side, you're going to get looser quicker than you would normally. Like in a place like Atlanta, you slip and you slide a lot, you're used to it. Here, it just goes from stuck to going away on
Well,
you.
I think a lot of that is because of the speeds we're running. If you look at the lap times, we're literally running qualifying laps. Could you imagine us racing somebody under that qualifying lap you're out there running? I mean, that's reality right now. That's what we're seeing.
You're up here with us today, Clint, but this is kind of a rehearsal for drivers only in 3 weeks at Talladega Super Speedway. Does Harvick tell you guys what to do as the play-by-play man?
It was so much fun last year. Boy, I'm telling you, we learned as we went, and they threw a wild race at us. We were thinking, all of us combined was thinking Pocono would be a good race to get our feet wet. Ended up being a fuel mileage race. We got in over our heads, and all heck broke loose. But it was so fun to see my teammate lead that charge and actually be nervous for once. He was definitely nervous. Once we got smoothed out, it was good. But Talladega, oh my gosh, I'm looking forward to calling that one.
Now I'm a retired racer, and you keep coming up here. You're not thinking about retiring out of the car anyway.
Well, eventually someday you're going to have to retire from this, aren't you?
I think you'll be ready, that's for sure.
Oh, Boyer's knocking on the door. Restart with 95 to go. Henrik Reddick front row.
It's a good example of teammates helping each other there. Big push on the inside, but it's not going to be big enough. Custer's hanging there. Or excuse me, Reddick.
Custer is up there, though, Michael. Inside the top 5 in the double zero.
He made that turn work, and look at him trying to lay on the door of Tift. Misjudged it a bit, and Matt was able to scoot away.
And make no mistake, we got to be careful not to call this a little bit. Down there in 3 and 4, yes, they're right on their door, but you can see, in all fairness, that groove is very, very narrow. You get your right side tires above that black and out of that rubber, you're gone, just like we saw Brandon Jones just do. So that's a prime example of what can happen if you get out of that.
Harvick going the wrong way on this restart, Michael.
Yeah, it's all circumstantial. You talk about slipping and sliding, getting in the wrong groove, and we're seeing that happen with Harvick now. And on the other hand, I'm just impressed with Jamie McMurray. That trouble early, his struggle in practice yesterday, now he's there.
You know, the other thing with that 98, we heard him have a vibration. Who knows what's going on there? Maybe that's what he's fighting. Gosh, look at those guys. They're all over the place.
It's Priest in front of him in the 18. 4 is Ross Chastain out by the wall. Chase Briscoe in the 60, making his second career start. All this action from 12th on back. There's Briscoe.
It's been a tough day for Chase. I've seen him sideways a couple of times, and he almost lost it there as we were riding on board looking ahead.
Chastain in the top 15 again, Michael.
Yeah, he's been impressive this year. I think that's an example of these new bodies have helped that smaller team match up their aerodynamics closer to the big teams.
I think you hit the nail right on the head right there. That's exactly what we're seeing.
Ryan Priest, 18, to the inside of the 23 is Spencer Gallagher. Gallagher's come back and right around the top 10 after that spin. And Justin Allgaier is done for the afternoon. Going to finish, it looks like, in the 35th position, Matt.
They've already pushed the old number 7 into the hauler, and those Hendrick engines typically are bulletproof. Do you feel like this is cold weather related?
Yeah, unfortunately, we just not exactly sure what happened there. Obviously, the cold weather today. It's a shame. These guys do a great job. Everybody at the Hendrick engine department, like you said, our engines have been bulletproof. These Camaros have been fast. Everybody back at Junior Motorsports. Luckily, we were able to get the parts that we think were kind of the problem out when we came back to the garage, and hopefully they can look at those during the week and figure out what happened. But again, the engines have been flawless. These cars have been fast. I got 3 teammates out there that got fast Camaros as well. So I really wanted to get our Brent Professional Agriculture Chevy into the Dash for Cash Hats off to Xfinity Comcast for what they do for this sport. And next week was, I was really hoping we could make it with the Dash for Cash, but looks like I'll get to get my Xfinity Stream app out today and watch the rest of these 90 laps or so. And it's definitely been an exciting race so far.
Thanks. Adam?
He was a Dash for Cash winner twice in 2017. Not going to be eligible at Bristol next Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm parked right next to the Brandt family down there in the bus lot. They're always so energetic and support this series in a big way, and obviously Justin and everything they do. They always do it upright too. They entertain people and always have a pretty good party going on over there. I like watching them.
You know, we talk a lot about the junior motorsports dominance and the Joe Gibbs cars. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Richard Childress Racing here today, and we saw it develop yesterday, Adam. A lot of speed. Henrik's leading the race. Tift is running third, although he's being heated up quite seriously by Ryan Blaney.
Actually, I think we saw this developing, Michael, when we went out west. You know, you look at Daniel Henrik. He was top 10 in every event out there, top 5 in California. All 3 of their cars top 10 at Auto Club Speedway. You look at how smooth they've made the transition into 2018. Some leadership changes over there. They have found speed. They haven't won at RCR in the Xfinity Series in 48 races. Trying to end that today and in position with Henrik and Tift up front.
Yeah, and I think we saw speed from them out west, Adam, but this is the next step, and that could possibly be because we've had a couple of weeks off. They've been able to tune on their product, make their cars faster, and now they're in control of this race. Oh, that's
Ryan really putting the pressure on him, starting to get him wiggled up, and probably going to make the pass here.
And these two a couple of seconds behind race leader Daniel Henrik. In between the 9 of Tyler Reddick, and that 00 is Cole Custer. Never surprised to see him have success in a 1.5 miles. Dominated and won in the season finale last year down at the Homestead Miami Speedway.
I really like watching Cole. I think he's a great kid. He's so quiet out of that car, and he drives that thing like a bulldog inside of it. I love that.
You know, in the opening, I said, who isn't where they want to be this season? I said Cole Custer. Well, he's right there in 6th in points, but I just thought the way he ended the 2017 season that this car, this team, they would be dominant when we started the 18 campaign, but he just hasn't quite gotten there yet, but certainly the speed.
Definitely, it's just the consistency thing. You know, they've always got the speed, you know, and the rest comes. That's the hardest part about this sport, is finding that speed week in and week out, all these different racetracks that we go to, and it's no different from this Xfinity Series or the Cup Series.
He's 4th right now. Matt very much in the game.
A big shout out to all of our camera guys working high up in the wind, as well as the spotters. Now, typically, Cole Custer utilizes Timmy Fidua, former Busch Series winner, now Xfinity, up on the spotter stand. But since Kevin Harvick is racing in this event, Harvick moves over, Fidua moves over to spot for Harvick's car. That brings in Joel Edmonds, who is Eric Almirola's spotter. And Joel made a great observation a little bit earlier in the race, telling Cole that he was driving in way too deep, which messed up his center and exit. So he backed up his entry and has really improved his overall lap times.
And guys, that's where a spotter can do so much more than just the obvious outside inside and keeping you safe as far as, you know, being around other cars. Good heads up spotting by them, and it doesn't have to be a rookie. You know, that's something that Brett Griffin, I expect him to tell me. You know, even what, 10, 12 years into this thing, I want him to tell me what he's seeing other cars doing better than me. I know him. We're friends off the racetrack, and when he gives me a suggestion, I'm either going to take it or I'm not, and it's not going to hurt either one of our feelings. I'd like to get a shot of those spotters up there on the roof. The poor guys, they're not in a suite or anything else. If anybody's really struggling today with these cold temperatures, I can promise it's them.
Yeah, and like Matt said, them and our cameramen just fighting the elements, bringing us these great shots. Look, there's some of our spotters.
A dedicated bunch, no doubt. Now, we did hear from Justin Allgaier. He's out for the afternoon. So is Brandon Jones. Regan?
Yeah, definitely not where Brandon Jones wanted to end his day today. You had a strong race car. You got your first career stage win. Do you take the positives from today and overweigh the negatives and build on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We at Monday morning, we had 3 goals coming to Texas. It was qualifying good, which we started 3rd. Get stage points, which we almost got the maximum amount of stage points in both as you possibly could, and to finish top 5. And I think we were on our way to doing that. So it's just disappointed, man. I want to prove so bad that I can run in the top 5, and I think we're going to today. So we've got plenty of races left, and we'll make sure we do it again soon.
lots of positives that you can build on from today. Adam, a strong run for him up until when it ended.
Real easy to root for that kid.
Yep.
And here comes Ryan Blaney, fastest car on the racetrack, got up to third, and now all over Reddick for the runner-up position. That battle is over. 22 back to second, and just over 1 second behind Daniel Henrik.
Yeah, I mean, you can't keep a fast car behind for long, and he's been fast. He set, qualifying record pace in those stages, that first stage for sure, and it's going to be interesting. This whole race has just been, for me, has been chaotic and interesting the whole time.
Reddick last pitted at lap 74. He's third right now. What are they thinking, Larry?
Well, yeah, he's going to have to pit somewhere around lap 135, which is only about 13 laps from now. But with the cautions that we've had, what I have to believe is Dave Ellens is going to try to maybe make it to about lap 140, because when you get to 140, the window's open. If you pit then, you can make it to the end.
And Clint, if we have a green flag pit stop with these cold temperatures, how much are you worried about these guys getting out of the pits, getting on the track with those tires and no heat in them, and not spinning out?
And as cold as it was, that was one of the things that I practiced this morning, because it was really the only thing that I felt like we could get a big gain out of. And to your point, I did slide the tires coming in. Didn't seem like they gripped as good as they are accustomed to, and slid a little bit. So that's something I got to pay attention to tomorrow.
And talking strategy, Regan, everyone should have 2 sets of tires remaining. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct, Adam. But talking to Dave Ellens earlier today, he felt like they could go 59 laps on fuel as of yesterday, but he thought they were going to get worse fuel mileage today because of the throttle time. Larry, extra throttle time, what's that mean for fuel mileage?
Well, it definitely is going to hurt the mileage. Plus, they had to richen these engines up, and that's going to hurt the mileage. But the only driver that by my calculations, only has 1 set of tires in the pits is that 42 car of Jamie Mcmurray, because of the issues he had earlier. They have stopped 3 times for 4 tires, and with 5 sets total, including what you started the race on, he only has 1 set of tires left. I don't think that's going to be an issue, because everybody has to stop 1 more time.
And if it stays green, that's good for the 42 bunch, right, Larry? It's the late caution that could hurt them.
Yeah, I just think as we get late in this race, unless you have a ton of laps on your tires, I think track position is going to probably be king.
Okay, Larry, let's start breaking this thing down. Battle for the lead is on. We said the 22 is on the move. Here's Ryan Blaney to the back bumper of Daniel Henrik, also slicing through the field after a penalty and a loss of track position. The 20 of Christopher Belle, kid out of Oklahoma, has found his way back inside the top 5.
Yeah, a lot of we talked about a lot of roller coaster rides for these competitors today. Guys that have fallen to the back and fought their way to the front. Blaney was all the way back in 14th, but now look at him. He's heating up Henrik for the lead.
Yeah, and what I see here, guys, is he's just able to hug that white line a little bit better than Daniel can, especially in 1 and 2. And from my experience here, that's where you got to really be in focus and be good. Roll that center good and free, so you can come off low and straight and turn 2. You can see Daniel kind of slide up a little bit there, and how much lower the 22 comes off.
And what is it like if you're the leader, Daniel Henrik, and you look in your mirror and that green car just keeps inching in on you? Do you change your line at all, or do you just think the inevitable is going to happen? He's going to get you.
No, I mean, you never. That would be like giving up. You don't do that. You make adjustments. You try to change that. But the one benefactor of being on a track that this fast is you can try to, get in his wake and make your wake as big as possible and make it hard on him. But you can see Daniel's really having trouble keeping it on the bottom as Ryan puts some pressure on him right here.
Daniel Henrik had never led a lap at a 1.5 mile track until today. 36 circuits out front, most he's ever led in a race.
He's just able to lap longer. He gets to the line sooner than we do into 1. Gets a really good runoff. But then you pull him into 3 there. You roll better. He may beat you off a little bit. It's hard for me to see with my angle. Just work on trying to get to the line sooner into 1 here.
That's what Clint talked about. The spotter just telling his driver exactly what he's seeing and what he needs to do, and he wants him to get down to that white line as quickly as he can. And I think that does what you said. Puts a bigger wake off.
Absolutely.
And hopefully disturbs that 22 car, but I haven't seen him too disturbed yet.
No, but he's really making it hard on him. I mean, you haven't seen him pass him either. And that's what it takes. Now, what the 22 is going to have to do is take advantage of this lap car right here. That's what you try to do is get him in a situation where you can capitalize on it.
Mentioned off the top how dominant the 22 car has been in recent weeks. At Phoenix, it was all about Brad Keselowski despite a speeding penalty, led over 60 laps, got to victory lane. Joey Logano flat put it on him at Auto Club Speedway, our last race, leading 139 of 150 laps. In fact, they've combined to lead 60% of the laps of the last 2 races. And here we go again. Inside Ryan Blaney, going to take over the top spot from the 21 of Daniel Henrik.
Guys, I'm not going to lie. It's been pretty fun to be in these Fords here lately, whether it's Xfinity, Cup, whatever. It's been pretty good to be in a Ford.
That 22's been magical.
I know you won at Martinsville, but I thought perhaps the biggest statement of his young career is what Blaney was able to do a couple of weeks ago in the Cup car. He was so impressive winning a stage and leading over 140 laps.
And it's funny you said that. I was just talking to Kyle Busch down there yesterday, and we both thought the same thing. When he took off in that stage, I'm giving it all I got, and I thought my car was rolling and doing the things it needed to do to be good at Martinsville, and he's driving off from us. He had a ton of forward bite. He really focused hard on doing the things right, and he got tight. But one of the coolest things that I love about that kid is I got back home, and later on that night, guess who shows up? Ryan Blaney. That's pretty neat.
Don't write off Christopher Belle.
Yeah, he's rallying, Adam, and looks like he's better than Cole Custer right now. Same story, different verse here.
You can never count out those Gibbs cars and anybody in them, especially somebody as talented as Christopher Belle.
I mentioned the penalty for Christopher Belle. Started 18th, really didn't get full speed out of the car in qualifying because we only went one round. It started raining. Had that penalty at lap 84. That dropped him down around 25th in the running order. Has worked his way back up inside the top 5. Scored in 4th right now.
I think that graphic could be fitting for any car on the racetrack.
There's a lot of them.
I was just thinking that. I'd like to see that heartbeat for everybody right now.
You look at Joe Gibbs Racing. They've won here 11 times. Got the sweep last season with Eric Jones, but they have not been to victory lane in 2018. That's surprising. Here comes the 9 of Reddick. Scheduled stop, right, Regan? This is their service.
Yeah, scheduled stop here for Tyler Reddick. We talked about them getting within their pit window. 64 to go is the pit window for him, evidently. 4 tires, the right side's going on right now. 4 tires and fuel, and they will send him on his way down pit road.
Chase Briscoe also making a stop under green. There was some imbalance in strategy among these teams, and we would anticipate all of this will cycle through. Prior to this stop, Reddick had pitted at lap 74. Most of our front runners came down at lap 84. I'd say in the next 7 to 10 laps we'll see everyone else getting their green flag service.
This is what I'm worried about, getting this thing up to speed off turn 2 there on the flat with those cold tires on there. This will be a handful.
And a speeding penalty for Tyler Reddick. Was running in the top 5, too fast entering. That's not going to be good for his day.
I saw his tires locked up and smoking as he tried to get to pit road, and he made it on, and I thought he maybe could have gotten it woed down, but not quite.
Here is the next of our green flag stops, Kevin Harvick on the pit lane. Regan?
Well, we see Kevin hit his pit box right there. He had complained about a vibration on this set of tires early on in the run. Seemed like maybe it got just a little bit better. They're going to give him 4 tires, a little bit of fuel to get him through to the end of this race.
Yeah, Regan, he had dropped back to 15th, 16th, somewhere in there, and then as the run continued, began to rally back toward the top 10. He's definitely going to need a caution at some point to have a chance to tighten things up, get back in the game. And here's the 18 of Ryan Preece on the move, getting around Matt Tiff. That's for 5th.
Yeah, guys, as we watch these pit stops, I'm telling you, like I was telling you earlier, coming on to pit road, it seemed very, very slick with the temperatures, whatever it was. You're carrying a lot of speed. Don't forget that, trying to come in on a green flag pit stop.
Reddick is back serving his penalty there, and I'm not sure he got slowed down that time, Adam, but the first time, watch this, just sideways, doing his best to get onto pit road. Too much speed.
Pass-through penalty for that one. Now he's been too fast entering again. This time it's a stop and go. This is not a good situation. They might be off somewhere with attack, do you think? Or is it just failure to get in?
Just slick, like Clint said, and hard to get it woed down. And when he came on pit road that time, he was much more under control. But I saw him carrying a lot of speed, like I said, and it didn't work out.
Here's the one of Elliott Sadler. Again, these are scheduled stops coming at lap 141, Matt.
And this has actually been a very solid day for Elliott Sadler, because he told me that the new left side tire they brought to Texas, he just has not been able to figure it out and get that feel that he'd been looking for. A strong top 10 run would be a great day for them. That's where they are in the 7th position. The car just too tight down in turns 1 and 2. Regan?
Well, the second place car of Daniel Henrik hits his pit stall. Perfect on the marks in the box. His car's just a little bit too free. Needs right side grip.
So Henrik getting his service. The 42 of Jamie Mcmurray is in. And Ryan Blaney looks like he's going to come down as well, Matt.
Mcmurray in, tighter down in turns 1 and 2. Still loose, though, on entry down into turn 3 and on exit of turn 4. An air pressure change on that 42. Meanwhile, the leader, the 22, Ryan Blaney, on pit road in that Penske Ford, bringing that Mustang to his pit stall. Brian Wilson and company ready. Earlier in the run, he was complaining that the car was just way too free on entry, but near the end of the run, it was on the tight side, so they wanted to adjust that with air pressure. Directly behind them, 2 stalls away, is Cole Custer. The guy's going to work on the left side. This is the pit crew that Kurt Busch utilizes on Sunday. He, too, on the tight side with a 00.
Scheduled green flag stops with 57 laps to go. We're inside the window where these cars can make it the rest of the way. Here's Ryan Preece, Regan.
Ryan Preece having another very good day in his Joe Gibbs Racing car. He's been in the top 5 all day long. He's a little bit tighter on the throttle this run. They're going to give him 4 tires. Matt?
From one short tracker to another, Christopher Belle says, my car is good balance-wise. I just need the track position. And he's away.
Spencer Gallagher in, having a pit stop under green. Same for the 12 of Austin Cindric.
Right now, Ryan Truex in the leaf filter car here, right along on his helmet, is staying out, leading the race. Caution comes out right now. He can trap a lot of guys a lap down.
Absolutely. This is always the nerve-wracking, place in anybody, whether you're the driver, whether you're the crew chief, even us up here. If that caution comes out, it bites everybody.
Last time Truex pitted, lap 93. What do you expect here, Larry? And now as we come to you, he's going to make his pit stop.
Yeah, he could have run to about lap 150 plus, but I think they felt like Chris Rice felt like that they were giving up too much time, Regan.
Yeah, he hits his pit stall, Larry Mack. As we see it from his driver visor cam, 4 tires for him. He's been having a very, very good day again. All weekend long, this team's been extremely strong.
Top 5 cars yet to make a pit stop under this cycle. Ryan Blaney, who was the race leader when it began, is now in the 6th position.
To right.
Chastain, Clements, Annette, Ryan Sieg, Dillon, Lupton, all going to have to make a stop here.
You can see his tacks lit up red there, but you got a flashing light. That means probably that's exactly where he needs to be.
Yeah.
One too many flashing lights, you're speeding, but watch, as soon as he leaves pit road, green.
Yeah, and everybody adjusts that a little bit differently. I've always used 2 lights, and if the 3rd one flashes, I'm speeding. I know to back it up a little bit, but obviously he uses 1. Look. If it flashes 2, you're in trouble.
Ryan Sieg is in, Matt.
We're going on the right side of that 39 car. You can see significant chassis adjustment. Still trying to find that balance for Ryan Sieg over the long run. Pump of the jack, 2, 3, 8. Left side is Regan.
Ross Chastain pits from the lead. His race car has been too tight through the center of the corner. They're going to give him 4 tires, fuel, and an air pressure adjustment.
1st and 2nd now, Jeremy Clements, Michael Annette. They are yet to make a stop, and you reacted with some negative body language up here, Clint, when the 4 came in.
Yeah, he had him locked up and was sliding quite a ways. I don't know if he got bit or not, but it sure looked like he was coming in fast.
There's Clements coming down pit road. He gets his service with 51 laps to go.
4's having trouble.
And that's a tough break because they spent a good portion of this afternoon inside the top 15.
Yeah, Clint talked about him sliding into the pits, and now they have another issue. Pretty cool to say Chastain pitting from the lead, just like it is for Jeremy Clements. These guys are having solid runs.
Yeah, Ross Chastain, I don't know what's going on there. They're having major issues.
Looks like a good stop for the Clements team. Ross is struggling.
Michael Annette leading this race, last pitted at lap 93, and as Larry just documented, he's got a little more cushion before he would have to come down and make what could be his final stop of the day. Blaney, Belle, Henrik, Custer, the others in the top five who have already picked up their pit stop here at Texas. When will Annette come down pit road? You'll see it as we go side by side and head to break. It's NASCAR on Fox.
Where's he? Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway here in the Xfinity Series. We want to take a look at the driver that's running number 5th right now. Of course, Ryan Blaney leading this race, but a little bit further back is another Ryan. It's Ryan Preece in that 18 car. Crew chief Eric Phillips on top of the pit box, longtime race fan himself. Also, as you see him working on that car, that's a good-looking car there, Larry Mack. Family man, yes it is. Kenny Walsh would like that. Family man, and check this out with Joe Nemechek, and it's a young Brian Patty on the left-hand side. So Eric Phillips, a lot of success, and someone I know you know really well, right, Larry?
Yeah, he is 5 races in 2018. They have had 4 different drivers in this car. Suarez, Benjamin, Kyle Busch, and Ryan Preece. 1 top 5, 4 top 10s. He took over the 18 car for 25 races last year, won 6 races with 3 different drivers. He has 230 starts as a crew chief in the Truck Series, 19 poles, 37 wins, and this is something no one can ever take away from Eric Phillips. He got Toyota's first win in the top 3 series of NASCAR at Michigan in the Truck Series in 2004 with Travis Quaffle, and you saw him with Joe Nemechek. He and Joe are actually married to sisters, Adam.
Oh my goodness.
Those numbers, Larry, those are like Larry Mack numbers atop the pit box. You know that? No comment from Larry.
No comment. He's already crunching numbers, Adam. He's back busy.
You said it, Shannon. Ryan Blaney is back to the race lead. Michael Annette made his pit stop. The top 5 right now. Christopher Belle is 2nd. Daniel Henrik is 3rd. Cole Custer. And the aforementioned Ryan Preece completes the top 5. 42 laps to go.
There's our leader getting ready to put a lap on Ryan Reid.
Yeah, he's really picking him up and putting him down. I mean, lapping up to 15th place right there. He's fast car right now.
Reminder, with 42 laps to go, today we're going to qualify 4 drivers for the Dash for Cash. First round next Saturday, Bristol Motor Speedway, live on FS1. And the eligible drivers at this stage, Belle, who is 2nd, Henrik 3rd, Custer 4th, and Preece 5th. Next in line trying to take it away, Matt Tiff back there in the 7th position. Elliott Sadler is 8th right now.
Preece is a lot faster than Cole Custer right now. And look at this run. He's got off the corner, but he's going to lose the nose.
Oh, he's going to
split him tight. Makes it work.
That's a pretty edgy move right there.
I like it.
I know. You know what else I like? You know, you got to give Bruton some credit here as we're at Texas Motor Speedway. We have this big screen in front of us to have all this thing going on, and he's got that big television that he put up there for fans. And I actually look at that one as much as I look at the one 3 feet in front of me because the picture's almost exactly the same.
We talked about the problems of getting to pit road for Tyler Reddick. He finds himself 2 laps off the pace back at 21st, and that's significant because what you just talked about, Adam, the dash for the cash. We thought this guy might be one of the favorites for that when we went to Bristol. That pit road mistake took him out of a chance to race for it.
39 to go. 93 laps led today for Ryan Blaney, who's trying to deliver a 3rd consecutive win in the series for the captain, Roger Penske. And now a quick word from Duracell. You feel like it's been a good day for Ryan Truex, and it has. He's 14th, but now a lap down. That's because Ryan Blaney in his own zip code right now, Matt.
Owner Roger Penske recently nominated to NASCAR's Hall of Fame. And one key part of his success is always his attention to detail. And when you look at his race cars, you don't really think about it, but he likes to have the wheels painted matching the color of the body of the race car. But Tom Fitzgerald from the Fitzgerald Glider, the sponsor on this car, said, you know what, I think it would look cool with black wheels. So this week, for the first time, they brought the car out with black wheels. In fact, Tom Sr., so eaten up by this NASCAR program, he always puts a huge incentive for the drivers. The first one to win each season in the Fitzgerald Glider colors, he has a great prize. This year, it was a side-by-side. Brad Keselowski won that by the win at Bristol. In fact, he gave Tom Sr. a ride, high-sided it.
and I've known those drivers to root against one another when they're not in the race car, so when their turn comes around to drive it, they're in position to go out and get that coveted prize. Here's Daniel Henrik, led 39 laps today, is 3rd right now.
You're bouncing around, losing a half a second. The damn lap cars don't get out of the way. Just focus, bud. Just focus. All we can do, just focus here. Everybody hits the bat every once in a while.
And that's the same thing I'm seeing with our leader, Ryan Blaney, Clint. Right. I mean, the lap cars are having to just fight for control, and when you get there, they can't just run up high and get out of your way, so you're going to lose time.
Yeah, I don't know who that was. Kind of an aggressive comment. Deal with him later, huh?
I said it a minute ago, Blaney trying to win in the 22 car. It would be their 3rd consecutive victory. Brad at Phoenix, Joey at Auto Club Speedway, and today with Ryan Blaney. Only one other time have 3 different drivers won in consecutive weeks in the same race car. It was for Joe Gibbs back in 2008. Kyle Busch, Tony Stewart, Denny Hamlin delivering for the coach. We'll see if Blaney can pull it off for the captain today. And let's not lose sight of the fact this 22 team did win the Owners' Championship a year ago. When it comes to the Xfinity Series, they mean business.
Yeah, there's always a few of these cars when you look at the Xfinity Series as a race car driver that you just as soon be in. And that 22 car as a Ford driver would be one of them that I wouldn't mind racing in.
Well, if there's a late caution, I'm telling you, Christopher Bell's made his car better, and he's been able to close in on Blaney, and some of that's through lap traffic, but their times are basically breaking even lap after lap. And another player fighting from the back again is Kevin Harvick. His lap times right now too are as good as our 2 leaders. So late race caution, this baby ain't over.
No, it's never over till it's over. And you said it. I mean, the Harvick's lap times right there is a 70 to the leader's 80, and some of them far back is a 29.16. So definitely got some racing left in this baby.
Good day for Stewart Haas. You talk about the comeback for Harvick, who's had a handful of issues today in 6th, and Cole Custer right in front of him in the 5th position, trying to get back inside the top 5. I want to go the route of Ryan Preece, though, and we mentioned him earlier, talked about his crew chief, Eric Phillips, who's done an outstanding job, as Larry said, with so many different drivers, just 6 races in to 2018. Here's a kid that's a modified champion and kind of put all of his eggs in one basket a couple of years ago, came to the Xfinity Series racing full-time for JD Motorsports. And we know Johnny Davis just doesn't have the financial resources of some of these other teams, and so Preece did not enjoy a great deal of success. Went back up to the Northeast, got back behind the wheel of a modified, said, I'm going to give it one more shot. Yep. And he came down last year, ran a few races for Joe Gibbs, got to victory lane at Iowa, finished in the top 5 every time, earned him 10 races in 2018 for the coach, I think he has proven to everyone he belongs at the top levels of NASCAR.
But I think he's a driver that's got crazy amounts of talent. He's a good kid, has people that back him, that believe in him, that got him that opportunity, put him in the right opportunity at a Gibbs, race car. He showcased that, like you said, went back, tore up the Northeast again, came back in another opportunity, and is capitalizing yet again. Always about the people around you, the people that got you there first and foremost, and then the people that are surrounding you to showcase your talents when you get to that big stage.
I mean, you can't help but root for certain people, even in this job as commentator. I mean, you got to love Ryan Preece. You got to love his commitment and what he's been able to accomplish in a very short period of time. This kid, like you said, huge talent, and now he's been able to show the world.
It came from a part of racing where them guys are beasts up there, man. They will chew you out and just spit you out, man. That modified racing up there, they beat and bang, hard-nosed racing, and he weathered that storm, showcased his talent to some of the best that we see, and here he is. So it doesn't surprise me that he's in this equipment at this stage and is right up front where he belongs.
He met his wife at the racetrack. They were competing against one another in modifieds. Didn't see eye to eye all the time on the racetrack, but were able to put their differences
that probably won't change
aside, and now they're married, and I believe she's since retired, and Ryan continues on with his racing career, doing an outstanding job. Still lives up in Connecticut, building race cars and working so hard on the modified program.
These two have been battling, I'll tell you that. Elliott Sadler was all over Mcmurray, kind of got loose off the turn, and that enabled the 12 of Cindric to join this battle, but it looks like Elliott's better than Jamie. All over him, but can't make the move yet.
But again, going back to this composite body and what we were talking about earlier, we watched Jamie Mcmurray hit the wall, spin out. Here he is, battling right back past Elliott Sadler for 8th place, and is still a part of this race. That's something that wouldn't have happened a couple years ago or even last year.
If you go right behind them, I know we sold Ryan Blaney driving the 22 for Team Penske, but let's not forget about Austin Cindric. Last time he drove the 12. He finished top 10 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. He's in the top 10 again, 10th right now. Just behind him is Spencer Gallagher. Started at the back after unapproved adjustments, had the spin. He's 11th, looking for another top 15. That'd make him 6 for 6 in that category so far this season. And then there's Chase Briscoe driving the 60, only his second career start. We know they're fighting through some speed issues, but he's in the top 12. Great day for him.
Guys, Kevin Harvick's got trouble in a 98 car. He's going to pit here. I don't know why.
Remember earlier he was talking about the tire, the wheels vibrating. Maybe the vibration got worse and worse, and he's finally having to come to pit road.
24 laps to go. This will take him out of contention for sure. Was going to need a caution to have an opportunity to make a run at it.
It's an awful long time from the caution until now for that wheel to finally get so bad he had to stop. So I'm not sure that that's what that is. What are they saying, Regan?
Well, Michael, you're absolutely correct. He has a wheel vibration, but this is a different set of tires. The set that had the original vibration, they already took off the race car. This set had a vibration as well. Obviously, it got too hard for him to maintain that, and he had to pit and get him off of there.
The crazy thing is the time he was making, Regan. I mean, he was running lap times faster than the leader despite those issues, and finally had to come to pit road.
It's something you just don't experience very often, is a vibration from tire to tire. I don't know if maybe they have. You can see on the wheel, it looks like it's coming apart a little bit, like it was loose.
Whoa, trouble there.
Had 8 cautions today. A 9th would certainly spice this thing up. Last thing that Ryan Blaney wants to see.
Bilicki and Boyd there were racing for the 25th position, 6 laps off the pace, and I think they're pretty serious about it.
This is going to be the first time in 2018 that Harvick hasn't won a race on a 1.5 miles that he was entered in. Swept at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Xfinity and Cup, and of course dominated at Las Vegas Motor Speedway as well.
Harvick back on the road, Regan, but he's 2 laps down now, back in 19th position. What's it look like?
Well, looking at this left rear tire right now, Michael, it definitely appears that the lug nuts were looser, that he had something causing that to oblong where the wheels connect to the race car. So something going on with the left rear on this race car. Larry Mack, once that starts, does it continue to get worse from set to set? Do you have the problem all day long?
Yeah, you've got to be careful. Once you have a loose wheel, it just gets a lot tougher to get those lug nuts tight. I've seen a lot of times, Regan, where you maybe have to throw an additional wheel spacer on there to get some better threads on the lug studs. So they got to try to hope this thing can ride out for 19 more laps.
Larry said at 19 to go, and you were selling Christopher Belle a little bit ago and how he's hanging in there only a couple of seconds behind. Is that Belle with a fast race car hanging at that same distance behind Blaney, or is that Ryan saying, I'm going to pace myself in the middle of a long green flag run?
I guarantee you Belle's got his tongue hung out. He's trying to go get that green car. He can see him just up ahead. And Clint, as a driver, how frustrating is that for Belle to just know he's that close to the best car all day long, but just can't quite get there?
It's so frustrating, and it's like you say, you know, you'll maybe see him have a little bit of trouble, get hung up a lap car, and you're like, oh, I got it.
Here I come.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, he's back separating and opening that gap again. But right now, you're just doing all you can do, managing your car, managing the, you know, hitting your marks, running that white line. That's so hard to do. And then also timing those lappers as you catch them.
And let's just go back a couple weeks ago. You were in this exact same position that Ryan Blaney's in, having to pace yourself, one eye in the mirror with the guy chasing you. That's a tough task as well.
Yeah, you have to manage it. You're using every resource you have. Your spotter, your eye on the sky up there is helping you do that as you navigate around lap traffic and things like that. There's a lot going on as you're leading, or Christopher Belle trying to run him down.
That's for fourth, Cole Custer inside of Ryan Preece. Are we seeing a little bit of a preview toward a championship favorite with what Christopher Belle is doing, and you couple today's effort with what we saw at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where he was second to Kyle Larson, third at Atlanta Motor Speedway. You and I talked earlier, Clint, you've got to be good on the 1.5 miles, and he appears to have that part of the program down.
And especially on a track like this, where it is, again, it's so hard to sell this because of the speeds we're seeing. You're thinking, well, they've obviously got a lot of grip, but when I think of tracks like this, it just feels slick. That tire feels hard as you're getting around traffic and cars start to take the air off of you. It gets worse, and it feels very slick. So if you're making good grip on a track like this and have good speed, I think you're going to showcase that all the way through all these 1.5 miles.
Getting down to it, Ryan Blaney back across the start-finish line. 14 laps to go, closing in on his 7th career victory in the Xfinity Series after starting on the pole earlier today.
Lapped all the way up to 11th position. He's got 11th position on down, a lap behind. Spencer Gallagher hanging on to a top 10 run. When he comes spinning down the front straightaway at 170 miles an hour, I would have never guessed that. So nice recovery by Spencer and that team. But this guy, we suspected it yesterday, Clint. You could just see in the lap times that this car was a little bit faster than the rest. He hasn't closed the deal yet, but certainly been dominant today.
I saw it that first stage when he was literally running. He was besting his qualifying laps that set him on the pole for this race. And race trim, your air pressures are lower. Everything else is trimmed out to be fast on lap 15, 20, not that first lap. And he was still running qualifying speeds. You knew it was going to be hard to handle for everybody. I'm just impressed. We're racing. We're on this racetrack. I woke up this morning. It's misting. We almost missed both practice sessions. It's freezing cold, and here we are. It seems like it's clearing up a little bit. We've got a lot of rubber on the racetrack, which I'm excited to see for tomorrow's race. It started out like gangbusters. I didn't think we was ever going to put a lap in. It's been just all over the place for everybody, every car, every team on this racetrack today.
85 here yesterday. 35 here this morning, going to be up around 80 degrees again tomorrow.
Good.
Challenges all over the place for you guys.
You know, we were over there watching the boss, Tony Stewart, and the sprint cars at the dirt track over on the back straightaway last night. And that, man, when that wind changed and it started getting cold, it was unbelievable how fast it dropped.
Conditions today for Ryan Blaney much different than yesterday when they set this car up. And it's going to be the same for you tomorrow. You set yours up today in the cold temperatures, a very fast Ford you're driving, the fastest in the 15-lap average. But tomorrow you're going to be faced with totally different conditions.
Big difference. It's the same for everybody. Got to have that adjustability built in your race car. Probably have some spring rubbers and things like that hanging, so just in case you get blindsided that first run and it's not like it was in our happy hour there, where you said those 15 lap averages were good. We can make those adjustments just like we've seen these teams do today and get right back where we need to be.
I say fast cars are just fast. You agree with that, or is that too much of a broad statement?
You know, it used to not be that way. When I first came into this sport, there's no way a car at Martinsville would show up at Texas and right off the bat go right back to the top of the board. But today's day and age, with the technology, the engineering, and everything involved, it just seems to be that way. It doesn't matter if it's a short track like Martinsville, a fast track like Texas, or back to Bristol. If she's fast, she's going to be fast everywhere.
These two just can't get away from one another. Cole Custer 00, 18 Ryan Preece.
But I think I see a lot of the same characteristics in both drivers. They just drive so hard every single lap and put it all out there, and they're both that hard-nosed racer that just doesn't give up and keeps wearing you out.
And both from two totally different parts of the world, and two totally different racing backgrounds, but you get them on the same track in competitive race cars, and you're going to see that fierce determination to beat each other.
Down to 7 laps to go. Good time to remind everyone we're going short track racing next Saturday on FS1. Our first round of the Dash for Cash, where $100,000 is on the line, and the top 4 series regulars that would qualify as of now, trying to hang on for another 6 laps: Christopher Belle, Daniel Henrik, Cole Custer, and Ryan Preece. And it's really not close, so unless one of them has a problem or we get a caution, they will be going for the money next Saturday afternoon. A little added drama at the world's fastest half mile.
And the first guy out is that 2 car, Matt Tifft, and he's wanting that caution flag to fly. Something happened to give him a chance so he can try to race for that $100,000 in Bristol next week.
But what a cool track to go for $100,000 at Bristol. I mean, you can literally move them out of the way and make a difference at that track and create some sparks.
Henrik trying to go back to back. He won the $100,000 at Thunder Valley in 2017. 5 laps to go for Blaney. His lead down to 1.8 seconds. He's pacing it just right as he goes after the win.
I just love those speed shots. You hear those cars go by, it just puts into perspective exactly what all Ryan Blaney's dealing with as he hauls down into that first turn at 185, 90 miles an hour.
Or that car's hanging on your right door over there and it's starting to come out from underneath of you. That's what every time I hear those shots, what I remember is you know, when that thing gets out from underneath of you, just how fast you feel like you're going. That's when it catches you.
3 laps to go this time around for Ryan Blaney. And I know it's early, and I hate to say this with Clint up here, but here comes Reddick. By the way, he was penalized again for a pit road, I believe, violation entering, and then also was speeding. So it's been a long day for the 9. I think Blaney will be in contention for the sweep tomorrow, though, right? I mean, he's got a fast car for Sunday.
Well, I'm glad he's having a lot of fun today. We'll get that out of the way for him today, and I wish him the best tomorrow, but I hope he doesn't dominate the race like he has today.
And it was fun a couple weeks ago to see him running well at Martinsville, right? It was great.
Yeah, and I enjoyed watching him win that stage and do good, but I definitely enjoyed being able to win that race rather than him.
A guilt-free victory at Martinsville for Clint Boyer, no question about it. Off of turn 4 to the white flag for Ryan Blaney in the 22. 1 lap to go.
That's a nice feeling, Adam. Not a lot out the front windshield and nothing in your rear view mirror as you head down into turn 1 for one last time.
Last win came at Dover in September.
And such a good guy, good family. I was teammates with his dad, Dave, and the neatest thing about him is this kid drives his butt off. He gets the most out of that race car each and every lap, and then when he gets out, he's not even wound up or anything. He's just pretty calm.
Ryan Blaney, victory lane at Texas.
Big car.
The thrill of victory.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it. It's what we do it for.
3 straight wins for Team Penske, 3 different drivers. Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano. Today, it's Ryan Blaney, and they could
celebrate however you want here. Once you're done, we'll come backwards down pit road and turn into a
could make it 4 in a row next week. Be a long shot, but Austin Cindric, the rookie, going to be driving the 22 at Bristol.
Well, he was solid today, Cindric was. 9th place finish, and so he just keeps getting better and better. That type of experience, running up in the top 10 here, could lead to special things for him at Bristol. He's going to be pretty confident, Adam. He's got a good race car.
And because it's a Dash for Cash race, if you receive Monster Energy Series points, not eligible at Bristol Motor Speedway. That will help Cindric's chances, no doubt.
Confidence booster for everybody. As you said, the RCR car showed promise. Henrik with a 3rd place. Priest, a good day today. Tift, all these guys going into a Bristol short track where all of them can showcase. That's a good confidence booster for all of them.
Career win number 7 for Ryan Blaney and the team that won the owner's title a year ago, doing positive things early in 2018. Xfinity Series here at Texas Motor Speedway, where Team Penske has won 3 in a row. The first of those courtesy of Brad Keselowski, who despite a speeding penalty led more than 60 laps and won in the desert after a rain delay at ISM. Then it was Joey Logano. Made that pit stop and everyone said, oh boy, this is going to hurt him. Wrong. 3.5 laps later, he's back in the lead en route to a 139 lap lead out of 150 and a big win for Logano in the double deuce. Today, it's all about Ryan Blaney leading 132 laps, and he gets his 7th career victory. 3 in a row for the captain, 3 different drivers, only the 2nd time it's ever happened in series history. And Blaney goes over and gives the flag to a kid just like he did last time he won at Dover in September. Matt Yoakum.
First Keselowski, then Logano, now Ryan Blaney takes the 22 to victory lane. 3 times you finished 2nd, now you finally scored the win. The only scary moment when it stepped out with you on the restart?
Yeah, that was definitely the scared moment of the whole race. But I can't say enough about these guys. This Fitzgerald Glider Kits Mustang was amazing all weekend, really. And we got behind a little bit, getting loose on that restart. And then, with those different strategies in the second stage there, we kind of had to come from behind a little bit. But car was great, and pit stops were great all day. And couldn't ask more of this team. It's finally nice to win one here in Texas.
Your celebration out on the front stretch, always old school, how you bring your car to victory lane, sort of a Polish victory lap like Alan Kulwicki, but the memories that you make giving the flag to a young fan, why is that so special to you? Because you can see what it means to them.
Yeah, you can. Whenever you can see them up close and personal, and see how excited everybody is to be here, that's just a bonus for us. That makes us feel good. It makes us feel like we put on a really good show, and I appreciate everyone for sticking around. It was cold today for those watching, and they sat up there the whole race, and it was unbelievable how many kids were in the stands and at the fence and really cheering and pumped up, and hopefully they had a great time. My main thing is trying to make a memory that lasts a lifetime for them, and hopefully this is a good start to it. So thanks for everybody for coming out, and hopefully they are here for tomorrow's race as well.
Congratulations. Adam?
I think the kid had an A.J. Allmendinger hat on. Last time he gave the flag away, it was a Kyle Larson fan. They're going to be Ryan Blaney full-time from here on out. Here are the 4 drivers that are going to go for the cash next weekend at Bristol. Christopher Belle, Daniel Henrik, Cole Custer, Ryan Preece. Dash for cash eligible at Thunder Valley, Regan.
Yeah, Christopher Belle will be Dash for Cash eligible when we get to Bristol in a couple weeks. Let's talk about today first, though. A second-place finish, your second-place finish this season. You had to work for it. You had a pit road penalty on lap 84 and came from the back to the front again.
Yeah, well, first off, thank you to Xfinity. It's a dream come true to be able to race for $100,000, so that's really special. But our Hello Neighbor GameStop Camry was really fast, as you guys saw throughout the course of the race. We were able to move our way to the front, just not quite good enough to run at the 22 yet. Felt like we were pretty equal at times, but overall he was just a little bit better than us. So a good solid day. After practice, I didn't think that we had a second place car. My crew chief, Jason Ratcliffe, and all of our entire team, they definitely make it better every single weekend once it comes time to race. So I'm thankful for the opportunity they have at Joe Gibbs Racing, and thankful for all the partners we have as well.
One of the hardest working drivers out there today, Adam. He passed a lot of race cars to get that second place finish.
And he's going to run a sprint car tonight here at Texas Motor Speedway on the dirt. Ryan Preece's teammate going back to Thompson Speedway to run a modified event tomorrow. What'd you guys think this afternoon?
Just the way they fought and battled and slipped and slid. I can't wait to watch them race tomorrow.
Yeah, from the word go. As soon as they dropped that green flag, it was chaos. You knew those restarts were going to be hectic. We saw cars taking the air off of them. Everything you want to see in an Xfinity race we saw today. It was a lot of fun.
And it's going to be twice as crazy tomorrow. Have fun.
No, I don't want it to be.
Blaney, who wins, starts 4th tomorrow. You go 3rd. Good luck, NASCAR on Fox. We're on FS1 tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern time. We'll see you then.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Shannon.
Kind of upset we never got the woo, how about that? But maybe we'll get one tomorrow if Clint Boyer goes back to victory lane. What a day it was for Ryan Blaney and for Penske, because we talked about them getting 3 in a row.
Yeah, no surprise, though. We saw it in practice, and just, they were spot on from the time they unloaded. But what an interesting race. 8 cautions in the first 100 laps, 0 in the last half this race.
It gets cold and everyone loses their mind. It was a good day for Penske, also a good day for some folks in the points. Let's take a look at the standings as we get ready to head to Bristol next week. You see Tyler Reddick, Elliott Sadler right up there. Sadler's technically the points leader, but Tyler Reddick, because he does have that one victory, he is already locked into the playoffs. You see Christopher Belle, Daniel Henrik, Justin Allgaier falls from 3rd to 5th because of the issues that he had out there today. So no longer 1, 2, 3 for Junior Motorsports, but still Elliott Sadler leading the way. And who else stands out to you there?
Yeah, Christopher Belle and Daniel Henrik, we just know those 2 drivers on the brink of getting their first win of 2018. And the good thing is, no Cup drivers in Bristol.
Belle and Henrik will be going for the Dash for Cash. A little extra motivation for both of those guys, right, Larry Mack?
Absolutely, $100,000.
$100,000. Big weekend next week at Bristol. We will see you there. We'll also see you back here tomorrow, or actually over on FS1 for our Cup coverage that starts at 12:30. Have a great night, everyone.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.